Oh, I could have let this happen. Anyways, let's check out the action from week 2 of ECAC. First up, we've got Nico Baca, who's got a need for speed.
But they have to be careful here. That kick not quite in their favor. Patrick has to be quick to him, and Nico Baca, he's just soaring through his sky with way too much pace.
Yeah, you knew this was coming. When this one lingered up in the air for a bit too long from J-Neil's touch, Patrick tried to go up for this one, but Nico, like we said, he's been the fastest player in this lobby the entire...
Just a friendly reminder that fireworks always add pizzazz to your points.
Of this series.
Good read there by Chalk, because if he didn't place down that block, that would have been a really early stock lead that he would have gotten. And wow, that nade.
Absolutely sniped out of midair.
Everyone is in flux when Mount St. Mary's is on the point.
To save that piece, and that is the bulk of your healing if you're Emery and Henry. Now you're coming in with both the Fiestals and the Shatter, but again, a massive Gravitic Flux comes out from Mount St. Mary, stops it in their tracks before they can even get started.
Yeah, the Tac Vines are gonna deal the final blows to several members of Emery and Henry.
Eve has got beef with BSU and wants everyone to know it.
One situation left to clutch it out.
Oh, no.
I'm a little bit afraid here that the wide swing's gonna come out, but Ian's waiting. Ian is being a little bit patient here. Eve is not going to be able to get the first one, and maybe if Ian was able to wait there a little bit longer, Eve would not have been able to get that free.
Someone, not me, is going to have to tell Talo Halo that sharing isn't always caring.
Gonna feed it, because right now Halo is be feeding into it 59% before they've been touched for even 0.1% in this counting. There is Arsene, but he may disappear just as quickly as he has up here. Oh my goodness, Kilomiles, that is a 0 to death if I have ever seen one. Talo Halo.
Don't let your guard down. You never know when Rhino will come charging in.
Is all the way back. That just goes to show how much they're not wanting to make it, but Rhino with all the control gets the one on the board.
Talk about getting one in there. That he actually picks it up initially from a mini pass to himself. That an expert is expecting an expert to do something expertly, right? That is just about as simple as it gets, right? Just literally boiling it down to more basic Rocket League right there. Oh my God! And again, Rhino does it twice in about 30 seconds after no scores.
We're bringing it around town with Chowan University.
Big fights out short. Town, though, just gets the better of it. Great spray control. Takes 2 down with him, and already Chowan is looking at a 2-0 right now. Gonna try an entry onto the site with quickness. Not willing to take his foot off the pedal, and Town's got a third. The last 2 coming from CT, and Town wants to put the nail in the coffin right here, right now. One is there, he's gonna hear them both. He has a head in front of him, 4 before he goes down, and all it takes is Dusty to finish this one off.
Last but certainly not least, Big J5 coming in hot with a big 5K.
And Kentucky, they may get the second point for free.
Oh,
great
that
shot from Big
headshot.
J.
The second
another
headshot.
one!
What?
He's got another dragon already.
The third.
Wait, he finds 3. Big J, he's looking for a 4th. Oh my God, he finds it! He is single-handedly destroying Kentucky right now. Oh my goodness! 4 eliminations, 1 Hanzo, and a brand new Dragons Online. The question.
Wow, I miss these awesome clips, and it's only week 2, so make sure to keep up with the action on Twitch at ECAC_esports, Mondays and Tuesdays at 8, and Wednesdays at 7. And make sure to follow their Twitter at ECAC_esports. And thank you to our partner Esports U and to you for hanging out with me today.
It is an exciting time as we are entering into the ECC Valorant Semifinals. My name is Sam Tux. Joining me is Rare Adam. And Adam, I mean 2 teams that are going into the semifinals, Utica University versus Molloy University. These 2 teams have a lot of tension going for them right now.
Of course, I mean, Molloy coming in as, I want to say, heavy favorites into all of this. They're looking very strong. They're trying to keep their undefeated streak alive a little bit.
Right.
Utica have that chip on their shoulder just a little bit, though, and they want to try and bring up an upset, try and take down Molloy College here.
That's the biggest thing. You want to be able to show that the David and Goliath story, that you're the David who can bring down the Goliath. A 7-0 team, though, that is not going to be an easy thing to conquer in front of you. And for these teams, especially with the maps that we are going to be going on, starting off on the, well, soon to be retired Bind, at least for a little bit, going into Pearl and then ending on Haven. And so there you have it. We got to enjoy Bind before it's gone, Adam.
I suppose. I mean, realistically, in collegiate Valorant, it's been one of those maps that you just see so often a lot of the times, and it's either, it's one of those maps that a lot of teams have played a lot because it's been there since beta, so it always sort of pops up there. So I don't mind sort of seeing it for the last hurrah, but at the same time, it's like, okay, time to go, move over, give a little bit more space. But of course, interestingly enough, the second map going to be Pearl, and basically we're going from old to new in that situation. And Pearl, one of those maps that it's been difficult to even get it on a broadcast a lot of the times because teams just want to ban it out. They're not comfortable on that map quite yet.
Right.
But as it's sort of risen up a little bit more, it's interesting to see the strategies that come through on Pearl specifically.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of Pearl. We saw a lot of Pearl on VCT Game Changers, where it was basically a map that was picked constantly. And so I think now that the collegiate scene has been able to see some of what the professionals are able to do on there, they feel a little bit more comfortable stepping into the shoes of Pearl and being able to make it work for them. This is also the pick of Utica, so maybe they have something up their sleeves to be able to throw off Molloy University, maybe be able to get them off their game and be able to take a map from them on a map that maybe not comfortable on.
Yeah, I think that's a major thing, is that Pearl is, as we mentioned, still such a new map in a lot of ways that some teams haven't had as much time to scrim on it in a lot of ways. And a lot of the times just seeing it in CVAL now sort of pop up, especially when we get into best of five, teams are like, okay, we don't really want to ban Pearl because it's not something that we're against. They want to have like specific map bans and all that sort of stuff if they just don't play a map or something along those lines. But Pearl now starting to slip through the cracks a little bit more. It's always interesting to see what'll come through, especially just in terms of what smokes you want to go for. There's a lot of Omen, there's a lot of Astra, there's a lot of Brimstone. It really just depends on what they want to do there, and it comes down to comfort. And sometimes you can just sort of go off the wall on these newer maps and say, you know what, I like this agent, I'm going to pick it even though it might not be best in slot.
Speaking of agents, we do have the agent select screen available now. Look at this. We have the Brimmies hovering at the very least for Utica. Molloy has already chosen theirs. They've already got their roster all set up. We're seeing Brim, Jet, Sky, Chamber. Even after the nerfs, we're still seeing him. This is still an agent that can cause so much chaos.
Yeah, and I think a major thing about the Chamber coming through is just it's TN6 there, has a pretty big following on a bunch of social medias and everything, started making these Chamber lineups and everything. And I think the day that patch came through and all the notes came down, it was like, you know what, listen, I'm going to find a way to make Chamber work regardless. I think he loves the agent so much that regardless of what happens, he's going to be pulling it out. But nonetheless, there is definitely some changes with that one. Of course, the teleport is a huge change in that regard. And the ult is so slow on the reload now. It just feels weird watching it when you're spectating or something, even in your solo.
It's basically an operator now.
Yeah, it just takes so long to bring it out, and the fire rate's kind of slow. But nonetheless, I think that if anyone would figure stuff out in terms of how this agent is going to work, any new angles you can potentially find, it would be TN6. But as you can see, the opposite side, Utica still sort of trying to figure out what they want to pull through. Seems as if they're sort of deciding at this point. Interesting to see the Fade come through as opposed to the Sky, especially with those nerfs that came down from Fade. Sky has been seeing a lot more play on Bind specifically, just because you get as much information just by knowing if they're there with your blind while still having that extra utility.
The double smokes as well for Utica. That's interesting too. Bind is an interesting map where if you're able to have extra smokes, you can really lock down a site, especially A site, wide open area. You go in with the Viper smokes, then you're able to cover heaven using the Brimstone smokes. And so it's just that little bit of extra security that allows yourself to be able to go onto the site. And of course, with Brimstone, right, you have the Brimmy with the Stimmy. That little bit of extra movement speed to breach through and execute onto site cannot be understated how important that is for both of these teams, considering that they both have a Brimstone.
Yeah, and I think for the most part, the fact that we get the double smokes on the defensive side is also a little bit interesting. I think they're just trying to prevent Molloy from sort of finding all these angles, and in a lot of ways, knowing that they're playing up against very skilled opponents in that, maybe trying to cut off some of these longer angles as well, just to keep themselves safe in some of these aim duels, because as we mentioned, TN6, he's got that aim down pat. He's going to be looking for some wank angles to just go off on a side and just find whatever he can.
Finding whatever you can is indeed the name of the game as a game.
Where are you?
There. Both of our teams are going to see a Interesting 3-2 split push going on each side of the opposite angles, but Larry already to blast wide open the doors and take a member away from Utica. Smokes have come down. The old orb has been picked up, but already a strong start here from Molloy.
And you can see just sort of going with this default, trying to find any picks that they can. Max sort of just pushing up, dropping a little bit of utility, seeing what they can find, but for the most part, it's heavy bias towards that B site, and I think that Utica might be sniffing it out just a little bit. The Fade going to start to walk over, but still, odd man push might come through. It just depends on when they want to pull the trigger. Of course, TN6 trying to get a little bit of a lurk down. Some shots down onto Chaser.
Ooh, and finished off by the hands of Max, who gets a second kill on top of that. Anchor goes down, and now we go inside of the teleporter, but we rotate back over to A. Try to fake out the rotate, and it looks like it might actually work out here. So they're gonna have full site control of A. Look at that. You're gonna set up your smokes, and now Spike is gonna be planted, and a retake and a 2v5 here in this initial pistol round. Not looking too good for Utica.
Yeah, and when you look at the agents that are left around, you know, it's the Brimstone who could potentially try and sneak in with some of these smokes and the Fade. You know, clear out some angles, but nonetheless, you know, gotta play as a team. Oh my.
Oh my, indeed. All right. HT showing us how it's done. They walk into Lambs. Get away with a nice frenzy kill. Headshot, a second one. And there we have it. Demon. At the very least, able to trade out the death of the comrade with a spike ticking down and 2 members left for Molloy. Sasuke to be the defender and give Molloy this first round win of the evening.
And you can already see TN6 on a little bit of that crazy angle, just standing on top of the box, not really expected to come through, but didn't have enough bullets in the chamber there, unfortunately. So, you know, sort of got cut down in their tracks, but nonetheless, you know, Sasuke and Max still had those angles covered. So difficult to retake 2v5, and what looked promising for a little bit. Just the health bar is not going to be quite enough, but once again, Utica this time might want to try and turn up the tempo a little bit here, push a little bit quicker. You can see all 5 members towards that B site. And when you look at where these members are, the chamber, checking out Utica. Not going to see anyone there quite yet, but timing from Max might just be the right place.
Indeed so. Joyce is going to regroup themselves towards backside, and that was beautiful. Already taking out TN6 with 1 headhunter headshot. Deadly.
And that's how you start to turn around some of these anti-eco efforts here. You want to take away as many guns as possible. That's the most expensive gun you're taking off the Bulldog out of the hands of TN6, of course. Larry going to trade it back. Max going to pick that one up as another kill, and now, all of a sudden, Molloy gets the man advantage once again.
Ooh. You're also dealing inside of Hookah. The smokes have come down, and you have a Spectre in your hands. And in a strange turn of events, it looks like Molloy says, we're going to forget B. Let's go over to A, set up there. We're going to completely fake them out.
And it works like a charm. You can see them sort of pushing towards B. They're not going to hear that spike until the notification pops up, and they've been bamboozled. Now got to try and play together, both of them going through teleporter, but what can they do? All of their backside is now just completely blocked off, and the Viper Wall providing absolutely no support this time around. It is the wrong place for that Viper Wall, and it's just because, Molloy, they've got the moves, they've got the rotations.
Oh, indeed they do, and you're gonna look right in through showers and Sasuke. Listen, the Spectre got nerfed, right? At that range, doesn't deal as much damage as it used to, but Sasuke completely ignoring those nerfs, securing a double kill with the Spectre inside of heaven.
Just standing tall there, finding the kills at the end of it, and now a little bit of a lead going for them. They'll try and convert on this bonus, of course, going to be a little bit more difficult with the weaponry advantage on the opposite side for Utica there, but nonetheless, you know, their aim's been pretty good, and that Bulldog, as always, can be so deadly on these bonus rounds, you know, just provides so much more damage than you're expecting a lot of the times, especially in that quick burst there. Gets so much accuracy, and if they can find a couple of kills here, even if they get some of those Vandals off the board, they're going to be in good shape.
Dog to try and gather some information. It does get a little bit there. Oh, but HTO7 now realizes someone's also going to go inside of showers, set up for the smokes, go ahead and put it down. Anyone who's going to have to entry out through there is going to feel the full fury of their Vandal. But Tanuki, as well as TN6, are going to take their time. We're going to see. They're going to poke. They're going to prod. We're going to maybe be able to make a pick happen here. And indeed so. Instead, though, it's going to happen in Hookah. Max with the patience of the ages lands a clean headshot onto Joyce. Now all by themselves. Anchoring down this site. And the full rotation of Molloy is going to be happening.
You can see it's a slow rotation coming through from the Fade at the very least. She's going to be showing up on site, but it's a little bit too late. Anchor will fall, and now the site completely open for the side of Molloy. They're upgrading their weaponry as well, and this is trouble for Utica here because, once again, numbers advantage in favor of Molloy, and they've got a couple of better guns on their side as well.
Launching smoke.
They have to wait for the molly to go away. You can't entry in on that. It's going to burn your toes. All right, Demon. You do get Larry, but Max is able to make the swing and the trade happen. Hiding out on the high ground, though. TN6 is just a monster. And now, Max, they saw the tip of the barrel. They're going to try and shoot, but somehow it gets a launch. Chaser lives, not only lives, survives, but takes down Max along with it. It looks like the decision might be here from Chaser. A valiant decision as well to just save the Vandal. You're not going to have time. It's a 2v1. Better to be smart with your economy, Adam.
Yeah, and one thing to note is Sasuke didn't upgrade the gun there. We'll have to find out if Tanuki was able to do so for themselves. No, actually, both of them not going to be able to pick up Vandals of their own. So a little bit of a gaff there. Maybe didn't know exactly how much time they had. Didn't want to give over that clutch. Didn't want to give over the round and everything. So they'll still be sitting on those Spectres. But at the very least, their economy is going to be a little bit more secure compared to the rest of the team. And yeah, that play, just great shots coming through from Max. What a turn to sort of turn that around. Begin that round out in Molloy's favor, but then at the end of that one, TN6 with a nice shot, and just these shots, the Vandal spray, just a little bit too much to control. Chaser able to hold their cool behind that, but nonetheless, Tour de Force already online here for TN6, so this is going to be dangerous here. Doesn't really matter if they've got the Spectre in hand. They've got the good.
I'm liking what I'm seeing here from Utica. They just went inside of showers, annihilated one member of Molloy, and now you kind of scared them away, forced them over to B site. Holding the anchor is going to be TN6 with that newly nerfed Tour de Force, by the way. Utica, they kind of got the read here. They've noticed that Molloy likes to rotate often and quickly, and so already they're moving their way over to B site.
And Tanuki just going to go through this Brim Smoke as well. Has to be careful. There is a member on the opposite side. Anchor able to land the headshot, and now numbers advantage now for Utica. They've got the agency to do this, but do they have the angles? Do they have the shot? Do they have the aim in this situation?
The aim is going to be most important here, especially when you're dealing with that Tour de Force. A really good molly pushes him away from Gardens. TN6 has to wait for the smokes to go away. Meanwhile, HDO7 goes in, and while this was all happening, the defuse comes through and picks two on top of that, actually, at the very last second. So the only one who was able to get away with their life was Sasuke.
Sasuke betraying the team again, potentially. All jokes aside, is going to just upgrade to that Vandal finally in that situation. And once again, it's, holding on to that Spectre, not able to pick up the homie's Vandal or anything like that. So a little bit of a weapon disadvantage. Going to sort of rotate that one around, give Sasuke the Vandal that they've sort of earned with their life potentially. But nonetheless, Molloy, a little bit of a gaff there, trying to rotate over a little bit too quickly. And then just checking through. A great shot coming through from Anchor to sort of save that round for themselves. But nonetheless, it's still going to be a little bit of an uphill battle here for Utica. They don't have the agency to sort of give over a round for free or a strong round going the way of Molloy, else their economy may be in shambles.
2-3 split push once more, hiding out inside of here. Max inside gets flashed, tries to use the showstopper, but Anchor is doing a fantastic job, and Chaser 2 as well. Anchor 3 kills, held it all down with the help of Chaser, who got 2 of their own. And Utica, a flawless round for them.
Chaser and Anchor, they sort of just link up together. Able to get that read, and they basically just defend that site 2v5 in that situation. Anchor with some great shots coming through. I mean, especially on the rays flying through the air. So difficult to get the head there a lot of the times, but Anchor holds it down, living up to their name in that sense. And now forces a little bit of a save now coming through from the side of Molloy. At least one member is going to be forced back on their economy just a little bit there. Seems like TN6 just going to rely on those headhunters, and now the tables are sort of turned in that situation. Now Molloy are the ones who really need to try and win this round out, else they may be forced to give over another with the state of their economy.
I'm interested to see how the shower play is going to happen. Max does have a Vandal in their hands. They're able to make mostly a full buy here. They're looking for any pick and any opportunity that they can. The information has been given, but holding down B site by themselves right now is Anchor. So if the decision comes in from Molloy, let's go ahead, push with the 3 members that we have, is going to be dangerous. Thankfully, though, that Brimstone does come back in, gives them a little bit of breathing room. The smokes do come down as well. Gardens is going to be protected for just a little bit longer. Vision denied for just a moment more. Now TN6. They want to. You can see that they want to. They have it in their eyes.
You can see all these angles that Molloy sort of holding. Oh my goodness, able to land one just right there. Now it's just sort of figuring out where they want to go from here, right? You know, do you want to go towards B? Do you want to stay A? You have the teleporters, the A advantage. You have these extremities under control. Anchor goes down, though.
Meanwhile, while Max was feeling a little bit bold, wanted to walk onto site, Chaser is going to slow that roll down. HTO7 is going to bring down the laser beam from above. They may be able to get a kill here. Not quite. Just gone in time. No damage done. On the flip side, though, TN6 has been taken down. Now it's a 3v3. The site retake does need to happen. Now we're going to see Chaser using their showstopper. The real question is, how much more successful is it going to be? No kills, but they do get to survive for just a second longer. And Larry, in an attempt to reposition themselves, only reposition themselves back into the spawn room. Tanuki, while they're coming out of the halls, is going to find out where Joyce is. And once again, Adam, another defuse just comes through. Meanwhile, Sasuke is just going to lurk in CT.
Yeah, he's just vibing out there, you know, just, I guess, holding on to the Vandal once again. Realistically, not much of a world where you can do it, but just sort of the turnaround, going through Hall, trying to stay stealthy at all costs. And Utica just say, we'll call your bluff. We will stick the defuse at that, and they've done 2 rounds here already. It's sort of odd to see that come through as their win condition a lot of times when they're just sort of ninja defuse in these situations, but nonetheless, Molloy are sort of getting the plant down. Their executes are good onto site, but their post plant not in the best of situations. And now with this Viper Spit down through Hookah, it's going to limit the options once again. And Joyce going to try and take an aggressive angle here. Might have just dodged away from the, oh, never mind, the dog's going to chase him down.
And you can see there's a little bit of action on there, but nobody actually checks to see where Joyce is. They thought they were going to reposition into a different area, but no, they're just going to hold elbow and get a kill too on top of that. So you've already taken down Tanuki. Molloy down numbers. This is kind of a team that's like, okay, we're 7-0 right now, but Utica is really hitting hard against this team.
And a lot of that's just because they're using their utility just a little bit better, and now the weapon advantage is going to be the one to matter. TN6 able to get a headshot there with the classic, but it's not enough to kill. And now just sort of trying to find anything, anyone at this point, doing absolutely everything. Is able to find that with the right click, and now they've upgraded the weapon.
That's going to be huge. HTO7 also taken off the field. One little less thing for, very least, Molloy to worry about, but it's still back and forth. Demon, you're somehow holding these angles with only 5 HP. Finally, though, the Demon has been taken away with 5 HP. Anchor, I appreciate the attempt. You had a classic. There was only so much that you could do. You did do a little bit of damage. Now we're going to see the plan here from Chaser. Do we want to engage in on this 1v3? Or do we want to try and save the Vandal? It looks like it might be the attempt that will come through. Just get hit with a flashbang. They do know now that we're hiding out in CT. So the question is, how good are these angles going to be? You know that Max is hiding out there, but you're going to try and whip out your pain shells. Thankfully, you're able to get around to the other side. You're going to use it once more. One on the head as Max goes down. Look how low Sasuke is. Chaser might actually be able to do this as long as they're able to land the headshot. But they just can't. TN6 gets a 4K this round alone and gives Molloy the lead.
And a huge round from TN6 there. I think finding that first kill there, you know, basically with a classic just to upgrade that weapon. And from there is sort of able to snowball the round in their favor. But, you know, Joyce holding a really tight angle, holding the tight ship. This is the play that sort of turns everything around, though. Able to upgrade to that Vandal, gets the heals back up from Sky. And then from there, sort of able to hold the ship. Chaser put a valiant effort forth, but just a little bit too late at that. Took a little bit too much damage on the way out as well. And TN6, 4K, now top fragging in this game as well. Tour de Force, though, going to be popped here. Once again, it's actually a couple of ultimates used on both sides, and now just trying to clear out as much space as possible, try and find any sort of advantages. Once again, it's just a push towards B. It seems as if they're quite confident with that push.
And you're going to push Joyce back once more using the dogs, but rather than abandoning that, no way! Joyce goes right in! Fearless, Adam! And he's able to take down TN6!
Yeah, great shot coming through. Like to call that the gentleman's agreement, you know, chamber versus chamber. Who can shoot first? Unfortunately, seems as if Joyce just had a little bit of an edge there, you know, slight peeker's advantage, I want to say. TN6 wasn't expecting him to swing that far out, and I think at that time either, and just was caught flat-footed. But now, Molloy still trying to push through here. Going to be a little bit difficult with the Viper wall on site here. This is the power of that Viper. You wall off one site, you hold the other side. what can you do if you're Molloy here? You're going to need some pretty big plays.
Now we hear footsteps. We're waiting for a potential something to happen here. Smokes are going to come down, but with the way that things have been set up here, look at that crossfire. Utica, this is a team that wants to take these semifinals home for themselves.
It's just wiped the floor that round. I mean, it was a hasty push forward, I think, from the side of Molloy, but after that pick on a TN6, they just didn't really have any worries in the world. You know, it was going to be that chamber holding down the B site. They still had the Viper there to support. The 3v4 on site, the dash forward just a little bit too aggressive, and as you said, that crossfire is just a little bit too strong, and now operator in tow on Joyce here. We saw what they did on the Tour de Force. Let's see if they're able to sort of recreate that this time around. Of course, Hero Vandal going to be picked up on TN6, so maybe trying to turn to the tides once again. Did it once, looking to do it again.
That boom bot is going to force Joyce back, but you can see what that teleporter nerf kind of does to you. You can only go so far with it now. As Joyce is able to get out of there, but they're setting themselves up into a position where they might be able to use it. Joyce barely seeing a little bit of the elbow. So Max is able to take a shot there, do a little bit of damage, and scare Joyce away. Hiding out towards trailer now. Just take the teleporter. Yeah, why engage in on that?
Exactly. They've got, you know, so much time on their hands as well. They can sort of use that teleporter play as a little bit of a ruse, and you can see all of these rotations now coming over. Now you see the Viper wall up, you see it smoked off through garage. Are they going to execute onto this site? Last time around didn't work out so well in their favor, but you know, there's a lot of sound cues coming down. Chaser already finding one with the paint shells, but Max is going all the way in.
That's a really big kill onto Tanuki as well. They had the Blade Storm, but Max walking inside of Lamps. The Sheriff in hand is actually able to get the kill there. And while Chaser was trying to get away, is going to be able to land a headshot onto them. But as they were making their own escape, HTO7, who's now stepping up to the plate. Kill after kill after kill for Utica, who has now taken the lead against Molloy.
You know, the first couple of rounds there, it was sort of expected out of Molloy. They were playing up to their standards in a lot of ways, but it feels as if Utica have sort of woken up a little bit here. They've gotten a little bit of pep there. Maybe it just took a couple of rounds for the coffee to kick in or something, and now all of a sudden they're starting to win out a lot on these defensive sides here. And of course, Bind is one of those maps that normally seen as relatively even overall. I mean, you have so much practice on this map that you should have strategies on both sides, but it seems as if Utica's defense is just holding tight here. Thus far, not really giving an inch over to the side of Molloy, especially with those two ninja defuses that realistically... Oh.
No way.
Yeah, those two ninja... Yeah, I don't know.
When you're holding your boom bot... Yeah, exactly. When you're holding a boom bot like that, you're just holding it out in the open. Joyce is... That's just free pickings right there. Sasuke, you're playing with fire too, my friend. You know that Joyce has been a terror so far with that operator in hand. Molloy, they like living dangerously. I got to commend them for that, Adam.
Yeah, they're living life on the edge, so to speak, but nonetheless, they're still going to try and hold these angles, of course. A little bit of an unfortunate timing from Max. They're going to actually use a cloudburst there to get this guy out of there. TN6 actually able to pick one up on the opposite side, picked up the operator for themselves, so sort of trying to fight fire with fire. Now just trying to clear it as many angles as possible, of course. This guy's got the aim, just will he be able to use it to Molloy's advantage? Maybe a rotation over from Demon once again. Nightfall, though, going to come down.
That's beautiful Nightfall. That is a beautiful Nightfall indeed. Catches almost the entirety of Molloy inside of it, I believe. And so that gives Chaser this chance to be able to walk outside of Showers and capitalize on a kill two on top of that. But she still had to be careful with the man with a plan, TN6 and an operator. But they were not expecting the Viper flank, who just walks right up behind them and commits literal, actual murder.
Great flank coming through from Anchor. Once again, you know, sort of been known as the site anchor for this side of Utica, but is able to find that rotation around. I think just walked all the way through T-spawn there. Able to find a nice couple of kills at the end there. But once again, that Nightfall was absolutely amazing. Caught everyone. And of course, Joyce, look at this. Just sort of baffled us at this. He doesn't want to hear my analysis. He just wants to say, I want my one. Get out of there. Clear that space out, and now Utica, hey, they've got their 6 here at the very least. Molloy gonna try and claw that one back, but with this buy, it's a whole bunch of nothing here. It's the garage sale, it's the Goodwill buy coming through. Don't really have a whole lot in their inventories. They've just got to try and do what they can.
I'm liking this from Joyce, though. They recognize that, all right, they've been seeing us a couple of times, hiding out inside of the trailer. Saves Anchor's life once more, but the Seekers are going to come in. Forces them to shoot it out. So now you're hiding out. But Max is going to be able to jump down. And once again with that sheriff has just been insane with it so far. They took a lot of damage for their efforts though. 18 HP. So all you have to do now is just sneeze on them. And down they go. The paint shells come in and it's going to deal a double kill. A double kill. Adam, what have we seen with these utility usage from Utica?
My goodness.
No way, Chaser! Chaser! Are we going to get the ace? The ace!
What just happened?
Chaser
threw paint shells through?
In the half.
What?
I mean, there you go, Chaser. Hey, you know what? That's, what do we say? Adam, what do you say? With a round like that?
Nothing. You say nothing, and you just let the art exist there. I mean, he throws the paint shells, and of course, yes, there's one member who's down there, 18 health. You know, maybe the expected kill in that situation, maybe the expected target. But you know, Larry just trying to put the plant down, trying to get anything for this side of Molloy there, gets taken down in the collateral, and all of a sudden going in over the top. Showstopper has the aim to back it up. Just such a clean round, and now Molloy just trying to get their last round in here, turn some of this momentum back in their favor, because all that momentum they had from that first little bit of the first half has now gone by the wayside. Everything is going in Utica's favor now.
Oh, everything and then some, and I'm pretty sure Chaser has the biggest smile on their face, at the very least in a tournament setting, is something that you absolutely want to. I'm pretty sure there are yells of clip that, clip that, clip that, that are going on for the side of Utica. But now we're seeing an approach from Molloy that we haven't seen in quite some time. They tried the aggressive approach. It didn't work out very well for them. And so now it's time to slow things back down, wait out utility, try to bait it out as best we can, wait for the smokes to go down, and then we attempt to make our move in, which is something that I appreciate here. TN6 and an operator, they've been able to get one here and there, but so far the operator hasn't been okay. The timing was just good enough. I think Anchor saw it, not really confident in the shots, just goes ahead and puts up the poison orb.
Yeah, but now TN6 has sort of repositioned themselves. I don't know if Anchor actually saw them, because, you know, they're not quite looking the right way. Max gonna hop onto site here, but oh my goodness, the angles once again.
No! Are we gonna get another ace up round two? Okay, Larry to stop Anchor in their tracks, but while they were doing that, Anchor has just these amazing swings that they're able to take so much advantage of. And with Tanuki poking their head out just a little bit in the smokes, you throw it a couple in there. I don't think they realize where Tanuki is just yet. They got 1 HP, a dream. They've been rooted, they've been snared, able to get the defuse, and that's it.
Oh,
they
accidentally steps in.
Their pinky toe. No. Adam, that was their pinky toe.
It was the heel. It was like just the barest of margins there. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't quite matter. Timer had already expired, but my goodness, Utica have come through with a fantastic first half here. 8-4 on that defense, and realistically, if you can get even half of what you did on that defensive side, you're going to be in good shape here. Molloy now forced to go back to some new plans here. This is, of course, where TN6 may be able to find some of those off angles once again, try and find a little bit of cheese for themselves, but what can they do? They've got to pick it up once again, because you can see 11 and 11 here. They're doing what they can, but unfortunately, the rest of the team just not quite up to par quite yet. And Chaser, 16 and 4. My goodness, what a performance.
It's like a performance of their life right now. They know that there's a lot on the line. This is the semifinals. TN6 is going to take up on the high ground, and I don't think anybody's going to quite expect that. And so this could be a really good moment for TN6 to be able to get the headshot. But Joyce, I said no one was going to be ready for that. Joyce was.
You know, Joyce watched the TikToks that he posted beforehand. You know, he was like, I know you're going to be there and everything, but, you know, H207 going to be 8 health here, going to be trying to stay alive for what they're worth, but at the very least, not going to get down here. Lots of residual damage, though, coming down.
And now Sasuke is just able to come through inside of the smokes, land at the very least a kill onto Anchor, who has been kind of one of the ringers right now for the team of Utica. But now, Spike has been planted. We just got to play the waiting game. There's really no reason to peek. Let's play this safe.
They can. Tanuki finds one. Gonna try and push in to Lamps. There's all 3 members there. Larry, do you have the shots?
That's gonna be the question. Joyce, you're gonna have to go quick, my friend. Indeed, so they get one, but in trying to do so, Tanuki was safe thanks to the help of their teammates. Sorry, not Tanuki. Larry was safe thanks to the help of their teammates, and the defuse does come through.
Able to hold the line there, just sort of stick it in the same way that Utica was able to do that a couple times in that first half, and now, at the very least, you get a round back under your belt. You take some of the wind out of the sails there. Of course, it was 8 of the last 9 rounds there. they were able to pick up for themselves where Utica now, at least you stem that bleeding a little bit here. You need another successful anti-eco around here. You need to try and do what you can. What can you do? What do they have in store here, Molloy? Got to get this together a little bit more. They've got to get that momentum back in their favor a little bit more.
They really do. Utica has been kind of running away with the show. And something that we really didn't, I think a lot of people didn't expect from Utica to be able to stand like this against Molloy. You can see, too, that the strategies are a little bit different for Utica. They prefer to stick together as a team. They're going to go inside of the showers, but using the boom bot like that, give out that information. Sasuke's going to hold this angle using a Spectre, but the real question is, how are you going to be able to capitalize on this? Because they're just hanging out here. They're going to be able to use their bird. They're going to go in. They're going to get away with a kill. One there. Maybe another one here. But it's just going to walk in, and while you're doing so, TN6 is going to get 1, 2.
Hot shots at that. Now the spike is down. Joyce is just going to get secluded out there. 4 members chasing him down. He gets Larry on the way out at the very least. But it is Molloy once again collecting their anti-eco, holding the line, finding another round for themselves. They just need to continue this trend. They need to keep that momentum going for themselves. And once again, against the Vandals, last time around, they were able to win. They were able to beat them out. They were able to pick up, the extra guns and everything. Now you have to do that. It is dire straits in a lot of ways. I won't say dire straits yet. You know what? It's still a tough situation. You just got to make sure it works.
Absolutely. I'm curious to see now that Utica has weapons in their hands, how this attacking round is going to go for them, whether it's as successful as their defense rounds. The Pain Shells does delay things for a little bit, and you also kind of get the idea of where Utica is going to go based on the Viper walls. But because they've done that, Molloy kind of has the impression that they are leaning towards A. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, going up long, Chaser. And I'm interested to see what happens here. Let's just see.
They're lurking. They're looking for
Yeah,
something.
they're just chilling. Chaser and Anchor, the duo, to try and make things happen here.
Yeah, I mean, they found Tanuki at the very least. They just don't know who else is there. Force out the jet. Nice shots.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Ooh. All right. TN6, you got the headshot. And you get to get away with your life, too, on top of that. Still the nuisances of Chamber happening time and time again. Now they've reset themselves back up once more. Looking for an opportunity to be able to take another headshot, this time towards showers. But Utica taking a page from the Molloy playbook. Just walk on to sight. A couple of whiff shots for TN6 is going to give ATO7 the chance and the opportunity to swing in and save the life of their teammate. Meanwhile, anchoring down to the back of the site, gets a double kill up there. Owen Spike has been planted. Max is stuck inside of Lamps, can't go anywhere. You either walk through the ring of fire. And speaking of fire, a good crossfire. Gives Max a second to think before Chaser puts that to an end.
Anchor's name sort of very apt in that sense, just sort of covering the flanks. Even still on that defensive half, just holding down a site by themselves. Utica up 3 rounds here. They're going to keep their weapons here. I believe it was just Demon who fell that last round, so they were able to keep a lot of those rifles in tow. Of course, on the flip side, it's going to be the operator once again for TN6. Can they find the shots? Can they find their man? All comes down to that, because if this operator can get value, if it can get a couple of kills here, you're going to be in really good shape. But once again, it all comes down to if you can get it down.
And it's always those big ifs that leave us excited. A little bit easier to be able to use that operator on defense. And I don't know if Utica is going to be quite expecting that. Chaser potentially could be the first one here. But it looks like the recognition might be there. They're just going to go ahead and abandon Hookah. They saw that the trap was there. TN6 is obviously going to be there. Just get away. I love that. Such a smart read.
Yeah, just play for your life in a lot of ways. I mean, expect it that the trademark's going to be on the site with the Chamber in some regard, especially with those changes, right? You can't just, cross-map it. Max taking a lot of damage, though, on the way out. Have to use that utility to sort of back him off, but once again, still have a lot of time.
Chase.
Oh, come on. He chases them down. Their names are so apt. Anchor and Chaser, Anchor sets the site, and Chaser finds the kills.
Ooh. Demon able to get out of the orbital strike just in time. It is going to delay the plant to come through. But now we're going to see TN6 give up the operator. They need to use the Vandal. Now it's time to just get out of there. Make the switch over to B. Perfect. That orbital strike was kind of a blessing in disguise. Now Anchor, to delay the push, they're going to use their snake bites. And so TN6 wants to be bold. They know that they have to stop it. but they can't. Anchor gets away with a 3K and another flawless round for Utica.
Once again, anchors the site. It just allows the rest of Utica to walk over for free and gets 2-3 in the round total. And my goodness, Utica have come out firing here. Dog story or not, they are looking strong. And now, as expected, the timeout coming through actually from Utica in this situation. Might be trying to ice out Molloy.
Might be. I mean, this could also be a moment, too, where you really want to make sure that you're talking strats to make sure that you secure the win here. I mean, you're 10-6, but that is not an impossible score line for Molloy to be able to make themselves come back. Economically speaking right now, though, Molloy really does need to make the necessary picks to be able to take the guns from Utica. But in all actuality, Utica should still be able to win out this round, giving them the 11th. And so moving forward from that, with that in mind, you know, Utica really, I think, looking forward towards the future, once Molloy gets guns back in their possession, how do we want to make sure that we're safe going into what potentially could be the final 2 rounds?
Exactly, because, you know, if they are to drop this round, if you look at the guns, I mean, it should be an expected win for the side of Utica. Molloy are going to have to force out the rest of the game effectively just to keep their heads above water. Even in a sense, you know, Joyce calling this timeout might just be, you know, calm the boys down a little bit, just sort of say, listen, I know that we're doing great at this point, but we just got to breathe. We got to get through these 3 rounds. We got to take their map pick away from them. Exactly. They've got something cooking up on Pearl. You take away your enemy's map 1 pick, especially, you get so much of an advantage in the rest of this series. And as you can see, they've read it once again. Look at how aggressively they're pushing towards this B site already. Going to back off a little bit in TN6 now, trying to look for those angles.
It seems like you might be able to try and fool them. Chasers all by themselves. They're isolated, but they're still able to get away with 1. Are they going to be able to get away with 2? Doesn't look like it, but you did a heck of a lot of damage while making that happen. Now they're just going to whip out the classic and see what they're going to be able to do there. Not much, unfortunately, but you did do a lot of damage. You forced out the heal. Now Anchor, not messing around. Just put down the Viper's Pit. Play it safe. Play it cautiously. But Viper's Nest also, too. Hit with the nerfs. You stay out of that for too long. 3 seconds. Down it goes.
Exactly. You got to be careful about how long you're taking outside of the pit. Of course, look at where the pit is, though. It is in CT there. It is such a difficult angle for Molloy to work themselves back into here because they're playing into their spawn. They have no idea where these angles are. This is such an obscure Viper's Pit that might just work.
TN6 looking all over the place. They're really trying to find whomever they can. The Viper, obviously, the most important target to get rid of this Viper's Nest. But really, you just play for time. You don't even allow them to do anything. And look at this. It is the hallway of doom. Anyone who tries to do anything is dead. Button holding that. I mean, you have the economy for Utica. They don't really care about them all dying. Look at that. Look at how much money they have. They could go a couple of rounds losing and still come out on top and still be able to make full buys.
Yeah, and it's a great read once again. You know, Chaser just went over to B-side and said, hey, come catch me. Catch me if you can. You can't catch me. I'm the Chaser man in this situation. Of course, Anchor throwing down a great Viper's ultimate. Now 2 rounds to go for Utica to sort of upset Molloy on their map pick, take a lead going into your own map pick, which, you know, who knows what Molloy has in terms of Pearl. TN6 now trying to hold these angles once again. Anchor, though, already got the shots onto Max.
They're blasting, and now TN6's position has been given away. We know that they're hiding out up in the high ground. You're going to force them off of U-Haul back down to the place where peons belong. Demon, though, a lot of damage. Same for Chaser. A lot of damage taken just off of what TN6 was able to do on that high ground position. Still, the numbers advantage going towards Utica.
TN6 trying to push through. Yeah. TN6 finds it once again. This might be a round where Molloy finally able to get their wits about them just a little bit more. Of course, lots of damage still on that fade. Got to be careful. There's no Sky to sort of top you up. Now TN6 taking the aggressive angles once again. Oh no.
It just doesn't seem like there's the coordination going on for Molloy. TN6 completely left in the dust. No one there to be able to protect him from the swing from showers. Spike has been planted once more. However, through the smokes, Tanuki comes up clean. Demon was so low on health that it was pretty much a given if you're able to land one single shot onto them. It's a 2v2. I'm interested. This is going to be tense. Speaking of tension, Joyce is going to completely take all of that away from Utica and bring them into match point. And for Molloy, not the buy you want to have going into match point.
No, you're going to have a bunch of random whatever you can afford at this point. I mean, you have the Tour de Force available. That is your main damage point at this point. It's mainly the only thing. You've got Tanuki with that Vandal on the bottom part of it, but nonetheless, it comes down to the Tour de Force. Can you find multiple members? You have to find multiple members. You have to hold the line here. I know that round started off really well from Molloy. It just seemed as if it sort of fell apart near the end of it. Joyce holding so many different angles, just holding the line. Now T6 aggressive peek.
There we go. Already being able to start us off. That was good, and this is potentially what Molloy needs to stop Utica, potentially speaking here. It all comes down to it. It's all in the hands of TN6. Spike has also been dropped, and so now TN6 just needs to watch out here. They just need to hold, take out the boom bot. The wall does come up, takes a lot of damage in doing so. Max really wanted to be bold and aggressive, is going to be able to take down HTO7, but the Viper flank time and time and time again. TN6 was just not ready for it. And where it looked like the door was about to be shut, things are opening back up for Utica.
Yeah, and it's still only the Vandal on the Jet. I believe the Brimstone has a Bucky or something along those lines. Not going to be the greatest for some of these longer extended fights. Might have been able to pick up a gun for themselves. Working here, Larry. Oh no.
Lurking Larry, more like gone Larry, and now inside of the TP we go. Let's hit B site. Let's go ahead and secure it. Let's make sure it's ours. We are one round away from being able to take the win here on the map pick of Molloy. Chase would be able to set it down, and now Anchor setting themselves up. But look who's already on site. It's going to be Tanuki. It caught inside of the blind. Chase is going to take a lot of damage, but safe from the wall bang. Sasuke, however, inside of Hall. Doesn't look like any kills are going to be able to come through until Anchor decides that they are now ready to get another headshot onto Tanuki. The showstopper. It hits. Sasuke. Damage happens. Now it's waiting. It's going to see what we can do. The dog to try and gather information just a little bit. Now we're going to have another blind. We're going to see the tip of the head. But in doing so, Chaser was able to make that swing happen. Take down Sasuke and give Utica their first win here of the series. 13-6 against Molloy.
And taking away the map from Molloy as well. Just a massive performance, a massive turnaround, especially after those first 3 rounds. You know, just had to get their wits about them, had to get comfortable in this game a little bit. But once they were able to execute onto these sites, oh my goodness, their attacking half was just so sublime there. Just able to find absolutely everything for themselves and just put Molloy down into the dirt. And now, for Molloy, you're going to have to pull out something crazy here on Pearl. You're going to have to sort of twist the fates in your own favor here. This was your map pick. You picked Bind because you're comfortable on it. You know you can win on it. And Utica just say, not so fast. Yeah. We've got the upper hand here.
So it's whatever, you know. We're not scared of you on Bind. We're also really comfortable on it too. Somehow, some way, in a really pivotal moment here in the semifinals, already being able to give themselves the momentum, the first map win. And so now we're looking at Pearl. They chose it. So they must have something cooked up for wanting to go onto Pearl. And the way that it was played, the utility that was being used, I mean, Anchor. Good Lord Almighty. We got to talk about what they are able to do on that Viper. So many times being able to stop so many pushes just based off of their snake bite, and then being able to capitalize on the over eagerness of Molloy time and time again. And then, I mean, this is something I never thought I would say, the flanking Viper as well.
Exactly. And, you know, just looking at the stats here, 391 ACS in that game from Anchor there. You know, a lot of the times these Vipers, you know, they're just putting up their walls. They're getting their assists because people walk through them at a certain point or they forget that the orb is there. No, this is Anchor just showing off at this point. Had a fantastic game. Of course, Chaser backing him up, 22-8 on the Raise. This Utica team just seems to get it. You know, and an ace and a clean clip. I mean, it was incredible gameplay coming through from those two, especially. I mean, the rest of the team from Utica really stepped it up as well. And I think, Molloy, they've got to go back to the drawing board a little bit here, sort of rethink their approach to everything and try and find the win on the counter pick.
Well, they are going to be able to go back to the drawing board because we are going to go to a short break.
can't miss. Teleport's ready.
Last player standing.
Hey.
Last player standing. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Flawless. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Hey.
Toxins going up. Three down. Blinding. Sleep tight.
Last player standing.
Poison orb emitting.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Spike planted. Last player standing. Last player.
Is that we don't have these preconceived notions, and we're willing to listen to our membership and read the room, read college athletics and how it's connected and how it's not, and take what we have expertise in championships, but also throw out some of the other stuff. I remember when we first started, there were some conferences were applying their amateurism rules to all of their esports competitors, and I think we knew enough to know that no, that's not going to work in an esports culture. It's got to be very different. And by the way, the NCAA was going in a different direction. You could see the train had already left the station on that, and so it's an incredibly dynamic area and ever changing, and will continue to change. And just as we didn't know when we started what it's going to be looking like, I think similarly we still don't know what it's going to be in another 5 years. I know enough to know that all of us are still going to have a thriving esports program that's doing a real good service for our members and for our competitors. But we still don't know necessarily what some of that is going to look like, and that's pretty cool about it all. Let me ask you this, because you all are used to dealing with your athletic directors, and each of them are dealing with what's in front of them in their athletic departments. My guess is at least some of your schools are that this is not necessarily
Before we go any further into this exciting matchup that we have right now, we do want to talk about the other game that was happening here in the semifinals. So now the winner of this matchup is going to be taking on Southern New Hampshire, who beat out New York Tech. And so that's an exciting moment. We already have one of our grand finalists set. And with how things are looking right now, Utica is setting themselves up to be able to go into that grand finals against Southern New Hampshire, especially with what we just saw on Bind.
Yeah, incredible gameplay coming through from them to sort of take down Molloy on their home turf, so to speak, there. And now we swap over to Pearl. Going to be so interesting to see what sort of strategies come through, see what they want to pull out in that regard. I think there's going to be one thing for certain. I think TN6 is going to be on a little bit of a revenge tour there. I think they've got a little bit of a chip there. I think they had a good performance for Molloy. It just wasn't quite enough, as we mentioned. Anchor, Chaser, just a little bit too strong right now. Their aim just popping that extra little bit.
It just that extra little bit that took them a long way, and I mean a really dominating fashion too. I don't think we were expecting the 13-6 score line in favor of Utica. Maybe something a little bit closer, maybe 13-11 or 13-10, 13-12, but not 13-6. Not the way that it was. Not for a team that has currently been sitting undefeated. No one has been able to take them down, and now Utica has given them a black eye in these semifinals. And I mean, now we go into their map pick, Pearl. And we've seen just what this team is capable of. And the great thing about Pearl, too, is a lot of the agents that they were playing still translates really well into the map of Pearl.
Yeah, especially with how wide open Pearl is, and how large of a map. Sometimes those double smokes aren't the worst idea. It's why Astra pops up so often, because, you can put down that temporary smoke, take it back with the stars. You have that agency to just go all over the place, put them down wherever you need them to. So I'm curious to see what the team comps to come through are. One thing that I have been excited to see on Pearl more recently has been the rise of, Phoenix and Reyna, not normally seen in a lot of these situations, just because a lot of these maps, you don't really need them that much, or, there's better options. There's Rays and everything. I mean, Molloy, they already know exactly what they're going for. They're not going to be pulling out anything too crazy here. And interestingly enough, TN6 opting away from the chamber. They're going towards the sky. So maybe saying, hey, those nerfs might be a little bit bigger than even I expected. Going for something a little bit off kilter. Yeah, and I'm curious to see how this plays out here, because the sky, once again, going to be giving you that information, more of an info agent than anything. But on the flip side, it's a Sage coming through. Got my soft spot in the heart for her, as well as the chamber on the opposite side. So Utica, they've got their comp set, and I'm curious to see how they want to play this map out.
I'm curious too as well. And also, just as a quick note, there was a substitution on the side of Molloy. Sasuke has been taken out, and as you can see there, Bliss has been put in. So a little bit of shuffling, maybe something that'll be able to help them a little bit more to find success on Pearl. Sasuke did a really good job on Bind to give themselves credit. It's just maybe, not quite comfortable with the agents that need to find success on Pearl.
Yeah, it might just be a little bit of a shift as well. Maybe a shot caller change or something along those lines. Maybe they're just trying to make sure that they put themselves in the most advantageous of positions. And once again, this Molloy team, a lot of them really like to ham into the social media side of things, promote themselves and do all of that sort of stuff. Bliss might just be a fade main in disguise or something. Just going to pull that out on this map specifically. But nonetheless, Utica starting off on the attacking side. Very curious to see how they play this one out, and already sort of creeping towards B. So dangerous site where it all comes down to, if you've got better aim, you win.
Able to catch Molloy off guard once more, not getting any kills for themselves, but dealing a heck of a lot of damage in doing so, just in this little angle. And it looks like a mid push for Utica. They really want to try and make this work. TN6, one shot rings out, but no kills. Tanuki! Look at what you're able to do when you just throw out those pain shells. A free double kill.
Yeah, I mean, just raise things, you toss out your utility, you find two there. It's going to be a little bit more of an advantage over to the side of Molloy here already. You can see Anchor just trying to drop down those stars, try and cover as much space as possible to make this slow march through Art this time around. See what they can do, though, because Anchor, basically a couple shots down from a classic, couple shots of their own, going to take down Tanuki, and now comes down to what Bliss can do on this angle. Already smoked out.
Bliss taken away. Anchor wanted to take a couple of shots, and now Bliss to throw out the haunt. Guess what, though? In doing so, they know exactly where you are, and they're going to be appropriately waiting for that. Larry, they're taking such a short position. Bliss, hello? Okay, all right. You're just going to hold that angle. You're going to bait them into you, and you're going to get the kill. Now it's going to be a mad dash to get onto whichever site you're going to be able to for Joyce. They're going to have to be very careful. They're going to have to contend with the KJ turret. KJ on site as well. By themselves in a 1v3 is going to be a difficult affair. They're able to take down one. A very pivotal one, too, on top of that with the KJ. But the blind is good, as Joyce can't see a dang thing. Larry to kill them out. And there we have it. To be fair, though, Adam, Molloy has won all of the pistol rounds so far, including this one. And once you put guns in the hands of Utica, that's where things are going to start getting interesting.
Yeah, sort of living by the mantra of the game doesn't start until round 3 in that situation, or rather round 4 at least on last map there. They dropped one extra round in that situation, but nonetheless, you know, Chamber not impressed, as you can see. TN6 having to swap off of that, but still getting a lot of utility out, having a lot of use in that round. And now let's see what Molloy are able to do once again. Of course, they've got that weapon advantage for themselves. They have been good at sort of holding this round specifically, sort of the anti-eco round, the bonus round, whatever you want to call it at that point. It's just about what happens come round 3. Are they going to be able to keep up their pace? Are they going to be able to keep that aim in their favor, or Utica just going to be a little bit too overbearing?
Overbearing is the name of the game. Meanwhile, Demon, looking in a different direction, is going to take a lot of bullets to the head from Larry. Ooh. A nice high ground position, as Tanuki, time and time again with these pain shells, has just been so effective with them. Another kill for them, but the plant does come through. Utica still needs to hold.
Yeah, I mean, Utica just sort of planting in a little bit of an odd spot. Not going to be the greatest to hold all of these angles. You can see it just sort of coming around the side. Max finds one shot, and now Anchor has been able to pick up a Spectre for themselves. Are they going to be able to hold the line? Spike is sort of planted for them here, but there's going to be a lot of members staring them down there. Blitz calls out the Haunt as well.
The crossfire was good. Anchor was going to be baited out by the Haunt regardless, and so position was going to be given up. And a very good read from Bliss to figure out where exactly this Astral was hiding. Another round win for Molloy, but now this is the round. This is the round, Adam. Where
yeah, the
Utica,
round, just in quotes too, the round.
Yeah.
Comes down to what Utica can pull out here. You know, they've got the aim advantages now in terms of the range as well. The main thing is Max going to be holding down B long with that Marshall. Will Utica sort of shy away from it in any sort of sense of it? Do they want to play towards, you know, the middle of the map, try and take advantage of the range, but not necessarily in these long corridors? It's down to their execute, and once again, sort of trying to get as much mid control as possible. Bliss with that Haunt will not spot anything out. Actually gets destroyed out, so at the very least, they know where some of these members potentially are, but once again, there's so much time and so much space on this map. It's so hard to get a read, especially in that first 20 seconds if you don't go for a rush.
It really is, but you're going to leave Max all by themselves, hiding out on B site, but look at all of the utility that they have set up. These are the things that you can do as KJ. Meanwhile, though, they've dealt some pivotal amounts of damage onto the KO, and so now as we're pushing up onto site, they're going to have to make sure that you keep your teammates safe while you're going to be able to plant the spike. Two, on top of that, we got to talk about some of the Sage nerfs that came through. This wall is going to come up, takes a little bit longer to set itself in. Healing not quite as effective as it used to be for Sage herself, but a lot more effective on their teammates.
You can see this wall just sort of cutting off half of sight, making it really difficult to get in towards that spike. This Viper wall, though, very strong. Try and use all this utility to sort of move the side of Utica around, but Chaser's already found one.
Chaser just locked away, separated from the rest of the team, was able to get 2 kills, but this Viper wall is cutting away a lot of pivotal information. You're going to see that gravity well kind of cut off sight here. Meanwhile, Bliss, I mean, yeah, we're getting long-range shots using a Spectre, but you got Anchor on the other side, and Anchor is always clean to get 3 kills.
Yeah, I gotta be able to find 3 once again, but it is a rather strong round coming through from the side of Molloy. They took 3 Vandals out of the hands. It's gonna force Demon at least to sort of reallocate funds, at least I believe from one of the other members there. Might have been Joyce sort of handing them off that one. It's Chaser going for this Spectre, so not quite gonna be the full buy, but of course on that flip side, it's Light Shields coming through for Bliss and Larry. I'm going to be curious to see if that makes a difference in that round, if that Spectre ends up being the difference maker in terms of them not being able to land those long-range shots that we're talking about. Nonetheless, seems as if they're going back towards B-Long. They're going for the aim duels. They're going for the ego peaks. Even immediately loses it.
It's Sometimes you gotta make those. You gotta test the ego out, right? You gotta see if you're gonna be able to land the shots, you're gonna be able to connect them, and sometimes you lose out on them, like what we just saw there. Max, they're still gonna hold on to site. They're not gonna be deterred too easily. And Chaser, who's already built themselves up to a revive, which is not an easy thing to do, especially not on the 4th round. Back comes up Demon, and the read. It seems like though for Molloy, Utica not wanting to make that rotate happen. Demon, they found their ego, and they found the kill.
Yeah, they get the revenge kill in return. Tanuki looking for anyone here. The showstopper sort of just gonna blow up in the face. And Bliss is just finding everyone, though, on the side here. And now, Spike still in the hands of Utica. They've just turned tail and run. And in this situation, with that Viper wall, with all this up, it's so challenging. Anchor, though. Oh, my.
Does not get the kill.
30 seconds left.
They do, but the pivotal thing that we need to talk about, they have a Sage. So you're able to get the healing in. You're able to get your health back at the very least. But Anchor doesn't care. They're still gonna try and fight them. They hear them walking
oh my goodness.
through CT. No way. Is Anchor gonna be able to do another massive flank? They're none the wiser.
No, they just want to back out in this situation. Yeah, they want to get that heal. They're gonna get that extra little healing that the Sage provides now, but all 3 members coming in through Art. Not be the best of situations. Chaser with that Spectre once again. Not gonna land those shots.
This is going to be much more difficult for Anchor to make this work in a 1v4. We know what they're capable of. We know that they can do a lot. But this is just a little bit too much for them to chew through. And now from Molloy, starting to find their footing once more.
Yeah, they've sort of got their groove back a little bit in a sense, you know, feeling a little bit more confident, getting their aim back in that situation, sort of the rotations working a little bit better. And while Anchor had a nice little trade there, taking a lot of damage and almost had the flank opportunity there, ended up going for a little bit of that safer play. Only Max going to be that main victim of that round, but nonetheless, I think that the side of Molloy, they're feeling themselves a little bit more here. They're trying to get that revenge tour in a sense, and I think it all comes down to if they can execute on that. You see the weaponry coming through from the side of Utica. Not going to be fantastic. It's going to be a couple of marshals, a sheriff. It really comes down to if you can land your shots once again, but the tour de force being active, that is going to be that big difference maker once again.
Absolutely. And Max, they see it coming. They do not want to tempt fate. That tour de force, even nerfed, is able to get those one-hit kills that will put you down into the ground. And now, it's all about not giving Joyce the opportunity to be able to use it. Deny them the long sight lines and wait for your team to regroup with each other. Take a very important look here, though. Look at how this flank is going to be happening very soon from Molloy.
They know exactly where Chaser wants to plant as well. They're just trying to spam through the box, but Joyce, so omnipresent there. Anchor.
No way. That's beautiful right there. Now they're going to get the reinforcements in from Joyce, but you had to make sure that they're not going to get the defuse. They're going to be able to stick it, and Larry is good to go. And we have it. Molloy once more. Another round in their pocket.
Yeah, they were just forced all the way back B long. They're not in the best of situations to sort of hold the site as much as possible. That Viper wall, though, coming through, I believe, a little bit late there from Larry, just blocking off that sight line. It is so challenging to push into a Killjoy site to begin with. But even then, I think they're starting to figure out that this Viper wall is going to come down later on. They're looking for those diffuses. They're looking to try and just turn tail and give up sites and say, you know what, we will play retake. Thus far, they've done a great job of that. Molloy doing everything that they can to sort of get themselves back in the series, and thus far these rounds have been going well in their favor. But Utica, with guns in their hands again, we know what they can do in this situation.
Let's hope that nobody gets taken down by Tanuki's page shells. At least that's what Utica is hoping for, and everybody does get to survive for a little bit longer. And now we're gonna have the Nightfall come through, catches out a couple members of Utica, but now it's all just about let's wait it out. We caught some members of Molloy in the knife from KO. We back away. We back up. We give ourselves some breathing room. Anchor is holding close towards A. Anyone who tries to swing through or maybe make a flank push is going to be met with the full force of their fury.
And sort of putting some stars over towards B as well to potentially bait out that. We're going to just take that one back as well. But, with only 2 stars, there's a very limited options that you have. Do you want to save the knock? Do you want to save the pull for after you get that spike down? Have to make that decision really soon. Of course, Astral Divide being up as well, you can sort of cut the site in half, take away some of those sight lines, take away some of those tough angles to hold. Just comes down to if and when they want to use it. Still lurking towards A here, and 30 seconds on the clock. This is where they're going.
That's exactly what they're going to do. All of the utility has been expended to Nuki hiding out. They're going to wait to make the swing through the Ash, through the Cosmic Divide. But in doing so, the wall does come up. It gets placed down, but they do manage to make a little hole inside of it so they can walk through. But now all it is just waiting for the Cosmic Divide to go away to really be able to capitalize on that. Larry, meanwhile, inside of the corner to Nuki, ready to swing in using the satchel charge. But in doing so, they're going to try to find another one. Chaser now finding themselves and their footing once more. It's around with a 3K. And Utica going up to 2.
Yeah, Chaser giving us Jing vibes there, you know. Went from the Raze to the Sage here. Not necessarily the agent combo that you would expect in those situations,
right?
But able to find 3 really good use of that wall sort of behind the Astral Divide there to sort of hide it. Of course, it did get spotted out a little bit, but nonetheless, Nuki gets overconfident, jumping in over there. Gets it taken down for their trouble, and now finally Utica able to hold their economy a little bit. They've got that res back in their favor, of course. Is just going to be Chaser and Anchor sort of keeping that economy in good standing. It really comes down to what Molloy can do if they can continue strong defense, and that's one way to do it. Take down Joyce.
TN6 feeling dicey, feeling good to go. Now you're going to send in the dog. Catches out 2 members of Utica. Holding on top of this high ground. ATO7 and Chaser, another revive for Joyce. They're being able to capitalize a lot on these revives, bringing their teammates back up, and what could potentially be the difference maker in winning this round or losing it. A couple of utility, but no team has found each other yet. On A site, a Viper's Nest.
You can just see just sort of chilling out in the pit, doing what they can. I think a lot of these situations for the Sage have worked out in her favor because they're rotating back and forth. They're able to get both orbs almost every single round, plus the plant. And of course, Chaser had a fantastic 3K last round. That's 6 alt points already there. You know, you get so much in your favor in that regard. But nonetheless, they're bringing the spike over towards A here, despite the Viper's Pit. I'm curious to see if they are going to continue to try and take advantage of that. Larry just lurking with the judge, trying to lay down any sort of judgment or any punishment to anyone who walks in. Joyce falls for the second time this... Oh, Joyce finds the kill, actually, this time. Oh, my bad. Max.
Oh! We're gonna have the flank HDO7 a double kill somehow in their pockets. And because they left, Larry left the Viper's Pit, it goes down, the wall comes up, and they're separated. Adam, you couldn't ask for any better timing than that. Now you can see Larry making some jump shots with a judge. But the range on that, Larry has no clue where they want to go.
Yeah, that's a challenge because they're coming up through Art. There's multiple members coming. HTO7 is on that flank. He has 5 health, though he's so scared to proceed. These jump shots, they're just not working, man. It isn't basketball. And Anchor gonna find that last kill.
Unbelievable. Utica now taking 2 rounds in a row. This could be the momentum that they need to get things back in order. And we saw this happen on Bind, Adam. They were down pretty bad. It was a 4-2 scoreline once there as well. But Utica got a couple of rounds going in their way. And now it's starting to look like something that they are going to be able to run away with too, considering the economy of Molloy potentially being able to tie things up.
Yeah, it's all about tying things up for the side of Utica here, and they want to make it clean. You know, it's all about winning these rounds, but winning them with enough credits to continue that push forward. But look at this, a 5-stack coming through. What is this?
They're just going right for it, and because you're gonna go right for it, you're gonna get a headshot right in the face. Beautifully well done from Molloy to take away a lot of the momentum. They had sheriffs, and they pushed back Utica, who had guns.
And the spike is down there as well. It's going to be so challenging to try and collect that. The side of Molloy can just sort of stalk their prey in here. It's such a difficult angle as well. You know, I have so much utility to just sort of spam down there. At least for the side of Molloy, they are perfectly fine to just chill out here for another minute. They don't mind if they're not getting too much in their favor as long as they're taking things away. But Demon, with that Nightfall, going to hit all 5.
And now the knife as well, see where exactly they are. It's all about spending as much utility as you can to make sure you get as many kills as you can.
Joyce.
You come through, but now it's Joyce. All alone, all by themselves against Max and Larry. And Max, of course, does have the extra help of their turret. So another member basically with guns in the hands of Molloy. It's going to be really difficult because he still had to go in and get the spike. Wow, a thrifty round win.
Yeah, and it's all based on that 5-stack. You know, they read it. They said, hey, listen, we're just going to go 5-stack beef. They're not there. Oh, well, you know, we lose the round, it ties up. Whatever. They go for the gamble, and it works out to a T in a lot of ways. They find the first couple of kills there. The spike is down. It's in such a difficult situation. And, you know, despite the efforts from Demon to try and get back in there and Joyce trying to find those kills, it just wasn't quite enough. Utica will still have a little bit of money in the inventory there, but it is not going to be as healthy as it once was. And it's full buys coming through on the opposite side there, Molloy. So happy to escape with some extra guns there.
Absolutely. And who knew sometimes the most simple strategy is the most effective one? Let's just bunch up and go for picks. And it worked out massively. But now things are starting to look a little dicey with the loss of Max. This is going to be free entry onto site. Nobody was there. You're going to rely on the KJ to be able to lock it down. And now with the loss of them, all of those nano swarms, all of the alarm bots, and the turret itself too has been taken away from you. Now Chaser to go back inside of Hall. They're not quite able to plant just yet. And this is looking clean from Utica. Pick after pick after pick. Now you got to make sure to watch your flank. Tsunuki gets 1 kill onto Demon, but with that information being given up, Joyce is more than ready to be the bulwark of the defense. Make sure that Tsunuki is not able to make anything happen. And as I say that though, Chaser is going to make it work for themselves instead.
Yeah, now you can see, look, 5 points on that ultimate already. Going to keep stacking that up. Every single plant going towards the Sage is a good punch back in a sense. You know, it's a good retaliation round from the side of Utica. Relatively clean. I think 2 members fell there. Still have the credits in their favor there. Of course, there's the Tour de Force available, the Null Command available. If they so desire, they can push onto a site and they can lock that down with the KO. Of course, on the flip side, though, quite literally the lockdown is available for Max. So we'll have to see how they play it out. But once again, Sheriff's in the inventory. And once again, they're just going for a little bit of a rush.
Yeah, just go in there. Just go quick. If it worked once, it's going to work again, right? But they didn't quite have the read here just yet. It's all about to go down on A site. HCO7 trying to use the knife to figure out where exactly they are, but the wall is actually going to get that information away as well. Now we're going to see the swarm grenade come in. HCO7 goes down, but inside of their ultimate, so they're still alive. Potentially someone who could revive them, but really you don't want to give that up too much. They're going to throw all of the utility to try and get rid of the KO hiding out inside of there, and now the timer goes away. Really at this point, you're just going to wait. You're going to try and get picks from the positions that you are in.
Chaser?
Nobody expects the Chaser in the flank, and now the gravity well too on top of that. Catches out so many member, and now this is just a shooting show for Chaser, who just gets to go away with one after another. But I say this, TN6, that was good from them. It was a sheriff, Adam, a sheriff.
Oh my
They got 3.
It was a sheriff against the Tour de Force as well, you know, saying it's the revenge tour. You know, this at Chambers nerfed. I'm going to take him down. I'll do it with my own sheriff.
Shaking his fist.
Basically just saying, listen, Riot, you took my agent away from me, so I'll take the agent away from Utica as well. And I mean, it's a good round nonetheless. Molloy able to get a lot of that money out of the inventories as well. At the very least, though, Utica tying it up once again. This is their map pick. Of course, we expected them to maybe have some more bold strats coming through. We'll be on that defense in the second half, so we'll still have to see what they've got there. But at the very least, it's 5 rounds going both ways. Should be full buys throughout the next couple of rounds for both of these teams as well. But look at this, the reads once again. Utica this time not risking it at all.
No, they're not. Oh, the gravity well! It didn't work out quite as well for Anchor as I think that they were hoping, but you do take down TN6, so an initiator removed. And now you make Molloy think, okay, if we have Anchor hiding out here in their own spawn already, Chaser, I mean, good lord, you just go back, you revive them, but they're working together as a team, they're working together as a unit to make sure that nobody falls. Meanwhile, you just leave Joyce holding down long with an operator.
Yeah, and Max is going to have to try and find that utility usage there. Going to potentially use that lockdown. Just waiting for the right time. When will they use it?
It's going to be the question. If the recognition is in their face, you're going to have to make sure that you set it up in the appropriate way. The lockdown does come through, and that's going to force them back away from the site. But with these long sight lines that you can use here, the operator is going to have a lot of impact. The question is, can Joyce make it have the impact that we know it is capable of? Lockdown wasn't able to find anybody, and those gravity wells, time and time again, look at how much of a nuisance they are. Anyone who tries to go inside of them is going to be locked down, and you can see what exactly happens here. This is just a shooting range at this point for Utica. Unbelievable. Now they've taken the lead.
Yeah, it's just the firing range, and I mean, it was all down to that wall. Larry put it up, and now it seems as if Utica finally adapted how to play around it, what exactly to do in that situation. You throw the haunt down, you get those silhouettes, and that is when you go to town. You're able to just see all of them. It makes that wall just useless at that point. And Utica getting to 6, trying to push towards 7 here. It's a little bit of a scuffed by once again coming through from the side of Molloy. 2 sheriffs there, though, and we've seen what Tanuki and TN6 can do on that specifically. Got to recreate the magic now, especially against operators coming through. You know, all of these guns full force for the side of Utica. They want to get the 7th round. They want to take the lead into the half.
And also for Max, they're not egoing anything anymore. It's all just about holding back and making sure that you gather the information for the site retake on the side of Molloy. But while Chaser's just taking a casual stroll through CT, oh, hey, look, TN6. Let me go ahead and take them down real quick. Now we get to make our jaunt over onto B. Unbelievable from this team.
Yeah, the Kitten has claws. The Sage Kitten not going to be doing that for long. Max, though, able to turn it around, but everyone's just fallen already. Anchor, my goodness.
Sorry, Adam, I blinked. I blinked, and now Utica has won the round.
Yeah, it was that quick. You know, they're execute onto site. They put down that wall, and yes, Max is able to find one on the turnaround. But what do Utica get in turn? 3 other members. They'll take that every single day of the week, and now they get their chance on the defense here, of course, with this being Utica's map pick. Molloy opted to go on the attack first, and now it just comes down to what the defensive strategy is going to be coming through from Utica. They are so close to being able to clinch on their own map. They were able to take away Molloy's home turf. Will they complete the underdog story here? Yet to be determined, of course. There's still a lot of Valorant to be played.
Indeed so. And of course, the winner here gets to go on to the grand finals to face off against Southern New Hampshire. So a lot of pressure is riding here. Obviously, both of these teams want to make that ticket happen, but Utica is the one who's inching closer and closer towards it with each and every single round win. And now that they've taken the lead, on the bright side for Molloy, not as bad of a half as they had last time around. But for Utica, an unbelievable defense, just as impressive as their offense from what we saw on Bind. And now you can see Molloy. What are the decisions that we want to make here? We've won. The bright side for Molloy, though, Adam, they've won every single pistol round so far.
Yeah. They've won every single pistol round so far. And yeah, that's always a caveat, right? All it takes is one. And these pistol rounds are so coin flip from time to time. You just find the right angle. You know, you're lurking at the right time. You're just able to find that one person that sort of turns the tables. You get that man advantage. That is all it comes down to. HTO7 just holding this short angle, doing everything in their power. Just resist pushing forward, and they might have read it here. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, now they need to get out of there. But, man, are they going to be able to? Yeah, they are. Okay. 19 HP, though, and while TN6 is wanting to walk onto site, Anchor is going to put that down into the ground. Meanwhile, Max to make a flick for the ages, lands a headshot on the Demon. The favor has been returned, and now HTO7 is going on a tear of their own, and Utica, Adam, they want to win.
We cast their curse that I think we said, you know, they got those 3 first pistol rounds, and now Larry is forced into a little bit of a compromising situation. And granted, found the timing, but do they have enough time? That is the main thing. Do you have time to plant the spike? I believe they will, just barely. Finally, Utica realized it was all a ruse.
It was a debate. Now you know exactly where Larry is. Larry, once the position was given away, Anchor is like a laser beam. They honed in on them immediately and called in the rocket strikes. And Adam, for the first time tonight, Utica, it's the pistol round. And I mean, in this position, when we're on series point, and you're staring down the barrel of being able to win against Molloy, exactly what you want.
Yeah, and I mean, look at what's happening on the opposite side there. It's potential forces coming through from the side of Molloy. They're feeling the desperation at this point, but realistically, this might be the right call. They're going to potentially get the read and say, hey, we're going to be taking these guns into our own hands. We're going to be taking it to them. We are not going to go down without a fight, and that's 2 Bulldogs on the opposite side. If they can take advantage of this round, it will be absolutely wool over the eyes of Utica. They are not expecting double Bulldogs to be coming through. This is going to be a lot to deal with.
The Sky Flash does scare away Joyce, forcing them to TP and giving up a lot of room. And on top of that, the Viper wall has given them a lot of space to be able to work around with. But this is going to be a full-on push to be long. Deny as much as we can. Execute onto side as quickly as we can. But the Sage Slow puts that to a complete and utter halt. And now Molloy, scared, stopped in their tracks.
Yeah, and now they've sort of revealed what weaponry they have in the inventory. Max finds the headshots. It's not as much of a surprise, at least, for the side of Utica. They know what they're going up against. They know they have to play incredibly defensive. What they're going to do, they're just going to try and rotate that one out. Trades happening through mid there. Still don't want to pull the trigger quite yet.
Ooh. Chaser got a nice haircut for free from TN6. Now we get to figure out what exactly is going on here. Another gravity well, time and time again. You get caught inside of it, and it puts you into this vulnerable state. Chaser is hearing a lot of action happening here on site.
Oh!
Even through the smoke, Tanuki is good to go. Chaser goes down, and now the paint shells continuously, I think, has been the MVP, honestly, for this entire match, Adam.
Yeah, call it the paint shells, call it the pain shells, because that's what Tanuki's throwing out at this point. 1v4 situation for Anchor. We know what they're capable of in this situation. Oof. They're just beat with firepower. The dog in them. TN6 going to clean that round up.
And it looks like the force buy indeed worked out well for Molloy there. And the only thing they suffered was a loss of Max. So pretty much the ideal situation that you want to be in, especially going into the second half. A very good amount of patience that came from them as well, not wanting to go onto site too quickly, waiting to figure out where exactly Utica was going to come from, and then just capitalize on that, make the picks that you need to, and then boom, boom, boom. It was all over from there.
Yeah, and this round should be relatively easy for the side of Molloy. Once again, they've got the gun advantage. It seems as if Utica going to take a page out of their book. They're going to go for the 5-stack here. Once again, it is all going to be for naught, potentially. They've been duped. It's the ring around the rosy once again.
Duped, bamboozled. Now you hear the footsteps, and that is time for Molloy to put the pedal to the metal, get to A as quickly as we can, put down the spike, set up. We need to make sure that they are not going to be able to take us on, and it looks like indeed the read is going to be happening. The spike is going to be planted. Okay, is Utica attacking or are they defending, Adam?
And I've seen this so much in the last couple of weeks, getting to see Pearl a little bit more. These teams just love to play on the wrong side of the map. You know what? They said, we did quite good on the defense. We're going to stay on defense, and my goodness, the read is there.
The read is there. DT and 6 is just... listen, we talked about a firing squad, a firing range on B long, and now it's happening here on A main. Another round win for Molloy, and getting very closer to being able to tie things up with Utica.
Yeah, they were mad they lost that pistol round and now started to turn things back into their favor. It's going to be a pretty strong buy on the opposite side, though. That's the operator for Joyce. They know that they can hold down that B long with all that they can. It all comes down to what Molloy will go for here. Substitution of Bliss coming in as well has been a little bit different. It's a different play from what Sasuke was doing earlier. Bliss just giving them a lot more info, setting up the team in different ways, and I feel like the support structure has just led to Tanuki having a little bit more of a time here, having definitely a stronger performance, and I think that has been a big catalyst and why Molloy are making this one a lot closer.
Indeed so. Now TN6's dog goes through, figures out that Chaser is holding this angle, and you respect it. You don't go in on Chaser. Chaser has been able to make some clean headshots. Obviously got an ace in the last game. And so now let's just abandon that idea. Let's push towards A. Maybe be able to execute and get the site.
You know, they just need to figure out how many people are there. And I think at the very least, we know that Chamber's going to be the last to rotate. Tanuki sort of lurking up through mid. Realistically, the whole side of Molloy are lurking still. They don't want to commit anywhere. Now it seems like a lot more movement coming through that Chamber, taking a different angle. This could be trouble for Max. If they peek this is... Oh, no.
It's going to be painful, but... Okay, Max, you've made the right decision, my friend. You go inside of art, maybe look at a couple of paintings instead of getting your head lopped off by Joyce's operator. The Viper wall comes up, and now Joyce needs to be able to reposition themselves. The operator needs to be used, and inside of tower, it's a possibility there. Speaking of possibilities that are happening in mid, Max is going to come up clean, but it's back and forth still. And now we're seeing, once again, what Utica is capable of. It is pick after pick. Even though Joyce using this operator hasn't been able to quite find anything just yet, time is running out. Molloy needs to use it. Larry here hiding out in the corner inside of holes. That has put this round into the ground for Molloy. Spike under the control of Utica, and the time is now done. Max gets to hang out in mid and contemplate what just happened there.
Yeah, and I think Larry had the angle there. You know, they had the read. They just weren't able to land those shots with the Bulldog. You know, scoped in so hard to get that movement. When you're not scoped in, the accuracy isn't quite there, and that's just the difference at the end of it. But of course, it's going to still be a relatively full buy on the opposite side. You can see Molloy going for that force, capitalizing on that with a very clean round, and being able to bonus that afterwards leads to them having some pretty strong economies for themselves. On the flip side, Utica, it's a mixed bag. You know, HT7 doesn't want to commit to a full buy quite yet, wants to still keep that wallet nice and full, but nonetheless, you can see once again these extremity pushes have been what have been the almost a trend for these two teams. Molloy looking towards A, looking towards B, not biting yet.
Oh, Joyce. Valorant is a game of timing, and they gave it up just a little bit too soon, and now they need to reset themselves back up. And because they had left it, Larry was primed and ready to go. Take down the operator, take down the chamber, and now we get to go in on site, put down the spike. Retake must happen from Utica.
Yeah, and it was a foot shot onto Larry there. That could have been so different if it was in the body there. Nonetheless, the heal's going to come through. All these Killjoy lineups going to come down as well. You've got to shut down so many members if you want to take down the spike. Larry has the Viper ultimate as well, but Chaser just biding their time, waiting for it. They swing, and it's good.
Waiting for a good opportunity. TN6 stuck inside of the slow and hit with the vulnerable as well. Anchor's just going to walk in with a ghost of all things, but you got to make sure that you're ready for the KJ lineups. It's going to come in, and it's going to come in hot and hard, but with the loss of Max, Bliss is the only one left standing. They had the read, but Demon is just a little bit quicker. I don't know if they have the time. It's going to be close. No, they don't.
Oh my goodness. The double tap there was the main thing that let Demon down, and unfortunately Chaser wasn't able to clean out the round, and Molloy somehow escaped with it. Once again, these full buys going to come through, and that is the worry. That is going to be the point of contention for the side of Utica. They want to try and take their map. They so desperately want to clear this series out. They will still have to fight. They will have to fight with all they can because Molloy refused to relent.
This is a nail-biter of a series, Adam.
It's good.
Something worthy of a semifinal. Honestly, you could have told me this was the grand finals, and I would have believed you.
It's delivering on all levels. I mean, both of these teams are so evenly matched, and I think even with Utica showing up on Bind in the way that they did, there was still those flashes of brilliance coming through from Molloy, and I think especially here, just seem like they've got that resolve about them. You know, sometimes in these series, it's the mental game. You go down one game, and it's over from there. But this time around, they're holding their own, especially not on their map pick, knowing that, you know, at the very worst case, they lose on their opponent's map. Best case, they're able to push it to 3.
Indeed so. It's just an immediate put down the Viper's pit. We are on here together as a team, and now we're able to spread out inside of here. The biggest question is we need to make sure that we protect the Viper, make sure that she does not go down, so that way we get the full benefit and the full range of use out of this Viper's pit. It's going to be a swarm from Utica as they try to get back in. But TN6 holding these angles, and Anchor not ready for it with their knife out. You hate to see it, but sometimes it just happens.
And you can see Larry just trying to find where these bullet tracers are coming from, throwing out the snake bites, just being so annoying. Just take it down!
Demon's just gonna walk up too. A very bold, aggressive move from them, but sometimes you gotta make the gamble. And now with time slowly whittling away, TN6 might actually be the savior here. They're doing it. They did it. They clutched it out. HCO7 wanted to stick it. They needed to stick it, but they weren't quite able to. And now TN6 gets away with a 4K and getting to hold on to their loadout.
Oh my goodness. And the Sage Wall there was so difficult to put down because of the stairs. You're able to sort of hop from that upper level on top of the wall in that situation. You can get a little bit of a head glitch there. If that wall was just a little bit higher up those stairs, TN6 might not be able to get over, and maybe it's the stick through. Maybe it's Utica going to double digits, but no, TN6 has it in them to clutch out that round, and now we're tied at 9s here. This is anyone's game at this point. It's so difficult to see who has the advantage. Of course, this round specifically, we know Molloy should be able to clean this one up with their loadout advantage, but nonetheless, it is oh so challenging every single time because we've seen some thrifties come through that have been absolutely nasty.
That we have, and now it's just the two teams rotating around each other. Utica didn't see anybody, so now it's time to get back onto site. They should be hearing the footsteps. It's going to be Tanuki whipping out the showstopper, and the show continues to go on at the very least for Chaser before Larry walks onto site and pops one onto Chaser. Now it's time to flush Demon out using the pain shells, and Spike goes down. It's time for Utica to do the impossible. Went out here, Joyce to try and make a couple of shots happen, but it's going to be whiffs. Meanwhile, HTO7 is going to get a double kill of their own, but with time ticking away, you need to go fast and you need to go hard, Utica.
Oh my goodness, great blind though. HTO7 doesn't have the shot though, and now it's a 3v2. Weaponry not in tow. Anchor, what can you do?
What can you do? The smoke goes away, and Anchor was more than ready to take on the kill. But look at how things are set up right now. Adam, you have blind the second anybody goes for anything. It's all about stopping them as quickly as you can. And even in this situation, though, Adam, for Utica, they did a lot of damage to Molloy. They lost the round, sure. But at the very least, you're able to take a little bit of kills for yourself going into this next round. On the flip side, though, Molloy now taking the lead.
And I mean, the main thing is this round specifically, there's something very distinct that's happening on the scoreboard right now. There is no ultimates available for Molloy, and there is 5 ultimates available for Utica. They need to use some of these ultimates, maybe not all of them, but at least some of them, to try and ensure this round goes in their favor. You see the tour de force already popped on Joyce. This is going to be an aggressive angle that they're going to try and hold as well. There's so much that you've got to deal with at this point. Gonna be forced to back out already just because of that Skydog. It just comes down to how you use your ults and when you use them, if you can find the right timing. Once again, though, this Killjoy ult is going to be used as a little bit of a bait.
Yeah, you just lock it down, but it looks like the bait might actually be good here as Molloy deciding to walk on the side. A couple of shots go out, but Joyce's aim is ringing true. You eliminate Max, you take them off the field. Now it's time to, at the very least for Molloy, looks like they want to be bold enough. The vision has been denied. Joyce not able to make use of that tour de force anymore. Put down the trip, maybe see if you can find anything. And now here are the ultimates that you wanted to see committed, Adam. Catches almost the entirety of Molloy inside of it. And here we have it, the flank, the anchor flank, the very famous one, time and time again. Now we're going to have the counter ult come in. But with HTO7 looking clean as always. A very nice headshot, but you got to watch out for TN6. Joyce, though, and a tour de force to their name is indeed a tour de force.
And it's 3 ultimates used there to secure that round. It's not even the cleanest of rounds. At the very least, be keeping a couple of rifles in tow. You've still got that Sage Red. You've still got that KO ultimate to get back onto site if you so desire. But even still, TN6 has come into their own. They were just using that first game as a warm-up, you know, figuring out if Chamber was still good to go. Switches over to that Sky, and now top of the leaderboard for the team. And I want to point out the consistency throughout these teams as well. Almost everyone at double-digit kills. You can see those who are not. It's the fades at the bottom, just trying to get as much info as possible. At 10s apiece here. Get a good run going here. There's momentum. If you can get it in your favor, it will mean oh so much to either one of these teams here because it is down to the wire.
And it looks like Utica, they were originally leaning towards A, but now it's time to go to B. Joyce is going to be denied a lot of vision thanks to those Viper walls once more, and you can see that the Seekers are going to come through. But with the Teleporter, it's going to be able to give them a little bit more breathing room. The Astra Smoke to deny the pressure once more. And this time around, we're not making any mistakes with that Sage Wall. Max is not going to be able to get on top of it, and now that information was given away. Look at that. Chaser knows someone is hiding out in mid.
You can just see holding down A side as well, just making sure that none of these crazy flanks are coming through. Great blind coming over the top of the house, I think. No good lineups coming down. I like the lineups from some of these teams, nonetheless. Still just gambling. They don't want to commit quite yet. They're waiting. They're waiting for the roulette to be right on the right round. But no, they're going to just back out at that. And Max, this lurk through mid here, hasn't spotted anyone out in a little while. And this knife will definitely reveal what is going on now.
There's so much tension, and Demon is about to have one heck of a fight on their hands as the entirety of Molloy has decided to rotate over to A, leaving Max behind in Art by themselves. And I had to be careful, but it looks like they want to go for kind of this flank maneuver. You're gonna have to go quick, though. Molloy, they need to go fast, and they need to be ready.
They need to go for it. Demon taken down, but now comes down to the rest of the members. TN6 finds another one. They're investing everything. Just in the nick of time, they're going to get that all down. And oh my goodness, the sprays are coming.
The sprays are coming. With the Viper still alive, a little bit of damage came through from Larry as they get caught inside of the Nano Swarm. 56 HP and suppressed 2 on top of that! But as they're walking out, all right, it's all down to you, Joyce. You got the gun in hand. It's Tanuki v. Joyce, but they don't quite know where they are. Oh! You didn't check your corner, Joyce. And Tanuki was hiding out there with 27 HP to close out that round and give Molloy the 1 round differential before they go into match point.
And the main thing is you look across and it's the economies once again, they're in shambles for the side of Utica here. They need absolutely every single credit to matter in this situation. You do still have that round to give up, but do you really want to risk going to overtime? Do you really want to put your game on the line for that? Seems as if they do, because you look at those purchases coming down. It's Demon is the only one with the Spectre. Everyone else has got sort of limited capabilities. That's a great haunt, spotting out 3 members as Max already collects 1.
Ooh, TN6 though, holding on for dear life. They're also going to be suppressed out of their heal, but thankfully for them, they're going to be able to rotate in time. Anchor, you're just going to hold here, but holding there actually worked. Tanuki, I mean Tanuki in these pain shells. What can we say, right?
Yeah, I mean it was the knock that actually came through to set up a couple of kills for the teammates, but once again, HTO7, who's been good on their aim, does not have a weapon. It's the classic. It's absolutely nothing. Don't even have the Molly in tow. He's got 1 more blind, but look at this. Ring around the rosy once again.
Valiant effort. But Valiance, unfortunately, does not win rounds. Now Molloy, match point. Utica, they're able to make their buys. But this is the round that they need to win. And they're going to go ahead and call a timeout. A smart one at that. The execution needs to be perfect.
Has to be at this point. I mean, you finally get full buys coming through on the opposite side. I believe I see 4 Vandals and an Operator coming down. So they've got the firepower. They've got everything in tow. And this round, oh, so pivotal for the side of Utica. You don't want to just sort of give back the break point at that. You were able to take them down on bind, and yet now your backs are up against the wall. 2 match points to defend here for a potential map 3. And even then, you know, map 3, it's all up to the cards at that point. You cannot predict what happens there. It is all down to whether your grit, whether your resolve is enough to keep you in this game. Once again, it's not over yet. You've still got that KO ultimate as a retake tool. No ultimates on the opposite side. Showstopper just 1 off, though. So Tanuki may be hunting for that orb. Nonetheless, Molloy will do absolutely everything in their power to upset Utica's upset dreams. The double upset, you know, going all these layers above. It all comes down to this round.
Nail biter. The tension is high. A lot of pressure on Utica to be able to close this out. Close this round out, but they also need to make sure not too many people die, because even if they win this round, if everyone dies, that economy not looking too good. That is a rough position to be in for themselves. But it's going to be a dog towards A. You have 3 members of Molloy hanging out in mid to be able to make their way towards B Link. Joyce starting off strong.
Yeah, and H2O7 starting out with a couple of bullets in the arms there. Lucky to be alive at that. The robot going to need some fixing up there, potentially from the Sage. Look at this once again. They know what Molloy is going to do. They know the tricks. The old dog has only so many tricks that they can learn, and it seems as if Utica finally picked up on this one. They know that rotation's coming down.
That they do, and they're rewarded for their efforts. Oh, Tanuki! It was the toe, the leg, and the kill now happens. Larry, you took a little bit of damage in your attempt to get over to Hall, but now it's a 2v5 situation, and the ideal break point that Utica really needed. Nate wanted to be in. Bliss is going to be good for 1. That's it. 1 and done. Yeah, too far away. They can't really do anything. It's hide. We can't do anything else. We got to save the Vandal, because for Molloy, their economy wasn't looking too great either.
Specifically, Bliss is in this situation, so at least saving that, being able to top up with those shields, and now sort of closing out the round. It's not going to be Vandals across the board. Tanuki may have to go for the light shields. They do have that showstopper, though. Nonetheless, Utica bringing it down to the wire. As you mentioned, a nail-biter of a series. There may be more legs to it than we expect. And even rotate that Guardian around. Give it over to Max there. Max has looked pretty good with that Guardian, so if you're going to give anyone that, might as well give it to that Killjoy who's going to be trying to hold down some of these angles, lurk a little bit. That Operator, oh so omnipresent once again. Got the tools. They've still got that K ultimate. And it all comes down to this round.
All right, you whip out the showstopper. That's Demon. We need to get the heck out of here. We do not want to die to this showstopper. And unfortunately for Tanuki, not able to find anyone. If Utica wins out this round, though, we are brought into overtime. And Chaser is ready to go. And even though they go down, they're able to take down TN6 with them and deal 30, a lot of damage to Larry. 120. Shield's gone. Nothing left in their pocket. Oh, man.
The Sky's gone, the Sage is gone, all this damage is now permanent. One saving grace that potentially you had is now gone to the wayside. Demon gonna be trying to hold these angles, gets spotted out just above the wall. Now has to play oh so careful. There's 4 members in Art. This Chamber still trying to hold down as much space as possible. Joyce knows that they love to rotate, but this time around might be a little bit late on the call. Don't want to go for the plant yet. Bliss is just tempting fate every single time. Will they go for it? It's all down to that. Suck comes through once again.
They're playing so cautiously right now. But now we're gonna see Anchor try. They pick up the Ares. They pick up the Ares, and now they're just gonna spray and pray right through. And because once again we have AC07 inside of their ultimate, they're able to just hold here. Now it's Max with a Guardian, a hope and a dream. You use the Cosmic Divide though. You cut off information for them. You don't give them anything. Oh my word. And now, as Max walks through, Joyce, the Reaper, put them down to the ground and bring Utica into overtime.
Oh my goodness, Sam. These rounds just go back and forth so quickly. It looked as if finding that pick onto the Sage was just a little bit too much investment, and it ends up being the case, and now pushed to overtime. We get to see Utica go back over to this offensive side where they did have a decent amount of success. Once again, it's just been 7-5 both halves. Attackers getting the better of it. It just comes down to if Molloy can finally hold down the line. And once again, this B site seems to be the angle. They're playing into the Killjoy's hands. They feel as if they can take down Max. Now it all comes down to whether you can keep your cool, because overtime, especially when you're on match point for Utica, it's going to be oh so difficult to just keep it together.
It is indeed. A lot of pressure on Utica. But we know that this team has been able to rise up time and time again. Put it down into the ground. Now we have the attack happening. We're gonna see. Maybe a headshot can happen here. But Anchor, you have to be hearing those footsteps. You're waiting. You're ready. And you get away with it. But are you gonna be ready for the second one? Yes, they are! No way! No way Anchor does that!
Of course Anchor does that! Of course he does it. He's done it all game, and Joyce has taken down my TN6. But already get yourself a huge advantage. Sky not very healthy either. Chaser, HCO7. My goodness, they did it.
They did it.
It's all down to Larry.
Larry, you gotta win this, but HCO7 is gonna completely deny you that in every single way, shape, and form. Utica, now on match point. The tables have been flipped onto Molloy. 3 rounds in a row, Adam, for Utica. And an unbelievable performance from them.
Anchor doing Anchor things. I don't know what to say at this point. You know, he's been doing this all game. He's been that lurk demon every single time. When it matters most, just a little bit too much aggression coming through from Tanuki, and Bliss gets punished immediately. And they do on the defensive side of things. I believe Demon has an Odin in the hands too, which might be a little bit of a nice switch up. It's Anchor actually taking that. Oh man, the Odin. Oh, so scary if you aren't expecting it, especially after they've played 2 full maps at this point going into overtime. You never expect the Odin, but it'll catch you by surprise, and it could win them the game.
It could indeed. We're having a bit of a default for Utica right now, but Molloy is going to make their 4-man push onto B. It is get everyone here as quickly as we possibly can. This time around, though, Max gets 2 of their own. Joyce is holding out in here, waiting for an opportunity. Anything that could possibly happen to try and even things back out around once more. But the spike was dropped there, Adam. They need to go in that direction to pick it up.
Such a difficult
TN6 is
spot.
waiting.
Oh my goodness. Joyce refuses to check that corner fully, waiting for everyone else to come through. TN6 picked up the spike, though.
Here.
Joyce, are you going to swing? Oh my goodness, this is so tense.
Oh! Things were even back out for a second as Joyce was able to get a second kill, but TN6, immaculate as always, while Demon walks on the side. The spike hasn't even been planted at him. Now it's been dropped.
There's 15 seconds left as well. They don't have time to dilly-dally. Here comes the Odin. Oh, it's taken down.
They have 4 seconds. They need to do this now. But while they're in the middle of the reload, Max, the hero from Molloy.
Switching sides.
Oh my goodness, Mad Max finishes it off. Finding the lurk finally. Every single round we saw them on that offensive side, they were lurking up through mid. They were looking down that hall. They were waiting to see who could come through. When they needed it most, he comes alive. Now has the operator in hand. Might be getting a little bit ahead of themselves nonetheless, but at the very least, they feel that confidence. They hold the line for Molloy, and now it comes down to how you can perform it in this round with the operator now in tow. That is going to be permanent there. Max, you have to land this shot. You have to get your one, else it may be impending doom for Molloy.
Utica, it's not even a thought in their head. Let's not push B. Let's do something different than what we haven't done before. Let's try and make an A-side push. It could work out potentially here for us. Look at these off angles too. We're having some differences here. TN6 holding out in B link. Maybe be able to take someone by surprise if they were to go that way. But so far, no one has yet. But also on the flip side, the angles that Molloy is taking right now, they're really trying to set themselves up, really trying to prepare for Utica. But Utica hasn't given them that yet. And so now Molloy, cold feet. You can see they're spreading out. They're separating. They're hitting better cross angles, better crossfire positions. Utica, patient.
You can see that once those stars go down, they know it is time to go. It's all a chess game until you've got to start taking those pieces. As the GM Hikaru would say, they take and they take and they take, and they're taking the site with all they can.
Oh, Tanuki, you throw out your satchel charge. The spike is going to be planted. That might be just enough what you need.
Oh!
As HCO7 tries to make the swing, but down they go. Tanuki, on the flip side, is also going to become a casualty of their own. Wait a minute. Joyce, what are you going to be able to do here? You're going to flank it? You're going to have to watch out for that. Operator, though. Going on top of the wall. They might be expecting it. You need to make sure that you're going to stop the play, the defuse. But Max, once again, putting things down and winning rounds. Molloy, now a match point of their own. Again.
Switching sides.
Once again, you know, they've just been able to claw it back. The operator gets the value right at the end of there. I think even if he had a couple more bullets to have to come through from a Vandal, from a Phantom or something, maybe there's the world to turn it around, because you looked at those other two members. They were a bullet apiece there at that. Joyce had the angle, just wasn't able to execute in time. Now it comes down to if Utica can find the defense for themselves once again. They're able to hold on against those 2 match points. Not looking to give that up now, but my goodness, it comes down to the nerves. It comes down to the tension. It comes down to the preparation. And that haunt's been thrown out a couple times. You gotta expect it at this point. That's pivotal information given over to the side of Molloy.
Really is. Now Molloy knows what to expect. We know they're leaning towards B. At the very least, 2 members are. And now, it's a full 5-man rush. We go in together as a team. We are going to execute onto the site. We are not going to take any chances anywhere else. We need to close out this round. It is pivotal for us to do this now. The bird is going to catch someone out inside of halls, but Anchor is going to be safe thanks to their gravity well. Now it's time for them to reposition once more, but a clean kill comes in. Anchor, beautiful as always, but has met their demise, has met their doom. The spike has been planted. And now, the Viper's Pit.
Oh my goodness, and this Viper's Pit brings a whole new layer to this. We saw, you know, the res get charged up from, I think it was, well, from the Sage. I think it was the first overtime round. They were able to get that. You know, it's a plant, a kill, and the orb. But now the Viper Spit's so much more difficult to contend with. But TN6 has 32 health, cannot take a single shot at this point. The wall's down as well. It's gonna be hard to retake.
It's going back and forth. Down goes the Viper. They're running out of time, Chaser. You gotta make this happen. You know where Max is. But you gotta go for the defuse. You have no other option.
Stick it.
There it is. Molloy. Once again, Max. 3 rounds in a row. All thanks to them. Are able to give Molloy this victory and tie up this series in one heck of a Pearl match.
Oh my goodness. Pearl delivers on all cylinders there. We got Molloy taking the lead. We had Utica almost clinching the series off of that. And yet Mad Max comes back 3 rounds in a row, as you mentioned, just able to clutch it out. Oh my goodness, just what a turn of events coming through. Utica, they seemed as if they had the upper hand in that first half as well. And Molloy, they just came back guns a-blazing and they were able to take that map away. We're going to map 3.
We're going to map 3. We're going to Haven. Listen, I had a feeling we may have gone here, but I didn't expect that it was going to be in an overtime with like, what, 28 rounds? Just wow. These two teams are playing their hearts out right now. Both of these teams, you can tell, Adam, they really, really want to go to the semifinals. But I think for both of us, we need a small break. We got to process what just happened here. I think everybody needs to process what just happened here. So we'll be right back.
Seconds left.
Terminated. My ultimate is ready.
Last player One enemy remaining. Last player standing. One enemy standing.
Blocking vision.
Spike planted.
I don't think so.
30 seconds left. One enemy left. Spike planted.
You lose.
Turret out. Last player standing. One enemy remaining.
Operating within the athletic department, and can you talk about how you navigate that in a conference office, and maybe the best way to handle that, or do you have preferences? Do you try to steer them one way or the other? And just talk a little bit about that if you don't mind.
Sure. The majority of our schools are not under the athletics umbrella. We have one institution that perhaps by next year will be under the auspices of athletics, but most of them are in other departments across campus.
Right.
One of the things that has helped us is that we have support from the president's office. And so in order to participate in Mountain West events, you have to have an adult non-student administrator that oversees that, the esport program. And that's where we get assistance with, eligibility checks and, please complete your roster, things like that. I don't know in the future, and it depends on, who's sitting in the athletics director's chairs, whether or not more esport teams will go under the umbrella of athletics. And I'm kind of indifferent in terms of whether it should, because I don't want esports to go down the road that some conventional sports have gone down with the NCAA. So we have a unique opportunity to kind of craft esports in a way that fits what esports is, as opposed to trying to fit it into a conventional athletics box, so to speak.
Right.
I think the success of our program and getting participation is exactly that. The fact that we're not tying it in necessarily to athletics and NCAA eligibility. Like Carolyn, we probably have 3 or 4 schools that are under athletics. And I know it puts them in a difficult position sometimes trying to make some decisions. I got a request recently to consider allowing part-time students to participate during this year, because some schools struggle sometimes to fill out all the games that they want to play with us. And we held off on that for now. We defer to the institution and say, what's your policy for those that are under student development or activities? What's your policy for allowing students to participate? And if you certify that they're eligible under your current policies, then that's good for us. I also think, and I was part of some of the conversations early on with the NCAA years ago about the NCAA getting involved as a Division II representative, and I was crossing my fingers that wouldn't happen, just because I think this needs time to grow, and expand.
Can I ask Rob a question, because you mentioned part-time enrollment, and one of the things that we've done here is that as a conference, we've just set eligibility standards, full-time enrollment, making progress towards your degree as the institution defines it. Are you guys doing something like that as well? Because we've gotten that part-time enrollment question and we've said no.
Yeah, no, I don't think we've gotten that far down the line, Carolyn, to ask for that. I think we kind of put it on the institution, but we do say that the student has to be a full-time. Now, they could be a full-time grad student, but they have to be full-time as from what the institution decides.
Yeah, our eligibility requirements are just as simple as can be. You have to be a full-time student in good standing.
Yes.
And after that, and that's about it. Now I think we wanted as few impediments getting this thing rolling as possible in the outset. I do think as schools get more competitive, they will start to distrust one another, and that's why we have this 500-page NCAA manual, because schools distrust one another. But we're not there yet. Right now.
It's been a back and forth series so far, as each map pick has been taken by the opposing side, but it all comes down to Haven. It is it here for our two teams, Utica and Molloy. Only one person is going to be walking away. Only one team is going to be walking away to go into the grand finals. And Adam, after that last map, after Pearl, both of these scenes, you can tell that we took a little bit of a longer break. You got to reset. You got to cool down. And you got to come up with some strategies.
Yeah, and I think out of all the maps to sort of close things out on, it almost feels fitting that you go back to an old map. You go back to Haven, one of these beta maps that all of these teams have played so many times. I mean, in the break we were joking about the fact that, seeing Pearl pop up was sort of a shock, because we're so used to seeing just Bind Haven Ascent over and over and over again. This time around, though, you get that sort of mix up with Pearl. You have to go back to basics. You have to go back to your roots in that regard. And one way to go back to your roots is, just pull out Jet. Say, you know what? This is our time to shine. We are going to go. We're going to give it our all and just go back to basics, basically.
And it looks like we have somewhat of a similar lineup here. Obviously, we have Anchor moving over from the Astra onto the Jet. Chaser finally taking a break. They're going to go over onto the Omen now. Joyce continuing to be Chamber, doing Chamber things, and HTO7 on the KO once more. And somewhat of a similar lineup on the side of Molloy as well. But, of course, Jet being whipped out, Omen being whipped out. And so we're seeing a lot of similar compositions here. But once more, it seems like Molloy feeling comfortable using the KJ. Site lockdown came in handy. And I'm sure after what Max just went through, what they were able to accomplish on Pearl, why change things up?
Yeah, in a lot of ways, this was a map that normally was dominated by Breach, in a sense. You were able to use that ultimate to sort of lock down the site. Of course, changes to Breach means that specifically against Killjoy, even if you were to pick it, you don't automatically kill the lockdown through the wall, which is a huge buff to Killjoy specifically. I think that is why we're seeing Max pull that out, just feeling a little bit more confident, saying that, hey, my utility got buffed. It was an overall Killjoy buff in that most recent patch, and the fact that we don't see a Breach coming down, that ultimate's so strong at just taking over these smaller sites. It's a little bit odd, honestly, to just see this map not have these stuns just going down, all these flashes coming out. It's going to be a little bit of a different look from both of these teams, but nonetheless, both of them just running down mid. Oh my goodness, we're going to get Brawly quick.
Action has been happening again. What an explosive first round. What just happened? I was breathing. The words were coming out of my mouth, and now it's already almost all over. Joyce is by themselves, and Molloy wanting to be the kings of the pistol round once more.
What just happened? Like,
I
they just 7 deaths in the first 5 seconds. We saw them sort of stanced up there, just sort of waiting, biding their time, and then just going for it. Find so many. Max gets 3, and I mean, you've got to be brimming with confidence at that. Already getting 3 kills in your pistol round with the Ghost, sort of making that investment pay off. Granted, they don't have any post-plant security here. Joyce, maybe in a little bit of a rough situation, sees where the spike is, does not actually get spotted out quite yet, but they're just holding their fire. Joyce, oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. You also have that KJ. Guess what? That turret comes up. You're able to give out all of that sweet, juicy information. Joyce to try and bait them out, though. It's going to be kind of a ring around the rosy, which is going to take just a little bit of poke damage from the turret before finally Max says, I need to end this. I'm getting tired of walking. My fingers are still tired after what just happened on Pearl. Hey, let's end this quick.
Yeah, and I mean, look at the credits that are in Max's inventory now. Most of the time you see sort of a buy up towards the Spectres. They are still going to go for that. Would have potentially like to see just a Vandal come through and say, you know what, we're taking it down. We're going to be able to hold this gun. We're going to win this round as much as possible. But even still, I think when you're down, when your backs up against the wall no matter what in this series, you cannot afford to lose this game. I think it is safer to just go for the matching option, 5 Spectres versus 5 Classics. It's going to be going.
Wait. Okay, Larry. Sure, you lose out on TN6, but you get 2 of your own, and it looks like Utica, not quite able to do what Molloy is able to do themselves. Oh, but no one's watching out for Chaser in the corner. And so Tanuki's gonna take a big old headshot there. And then there's the alarm bot that's gonna find out Joyce. Now it's all just walk on, make sure that we're pre-firing, and we leave. Poor Demon all by their lonesome once more. Valiant effort, but Max, listen, they're taking what they did on Pearl, and now they're bringing it onto Haven already. Fragging out at 7 kills. Adam, 7.
Yeah, they're having the time of their life. They've already got that lockdown in tow as well. And I mean, in a lot of ways, that's why I sort of wanted to see that Vandal come through. Maybe just say, no, we're going to win this round. We're going to take it all the way. And now with that Spectre in tow, going to be just trying to look to lock down the site, get on there as quickly as possible, because thus far, you know, the last couple of maps, they were playing a little bit slower. They wanted to play back. Warrior's saying, nah, we're going fast. We're going my speed. It's as if they're playing 5 Neons here. They're just trying to sprint these sites down and get as much done as possible. But this time around, a little bit more of a read. They hear them going in through short here, and Anchor already started to fire through. Checking PC.
Check a PC. That's what you got to do. Tanuki, I think, screaming that as well. You're trying to walk through the smoke. You're trying to have a good time. You're trying to engage and execute on site. But instead, the only thing you're going to be getting for your effort is put down. And now it's going to be Molloy looking for any opportunities. Maybe a little cheeky peek in through garage, a potential way that could happen there. Joyce making, you can see that Utica's putting out some pings, or Molloy's putting out some pings. Now the Haunt comes in, but Joyce was angled perfectly to make sure that they're not caught inside of that. Now all the vision has been denied thanks to the Omen smokes. They're just gonna hold here, but they're still hearing the footsteps. And now Larry gonna chase Chaser down as they were wanting to get on the site. The only thing they're gonna get is dead. Anchor, unbelievable. They weren't able to land the shots, and because they thought that they got Bliss, they weren't able to get it. But now Demon picking up the slack here. And this is not going to be wasting any time for Max as well. They're going to put down the Killjoy lockdown. We're going to see TN6 using their heals. Make sure that everybody's topped off. We're in a 2v3. And Max, you are an unbelievable god right now, my friend. Unstoppable! Another 3K! 3 rounds in a row. 4-3-3. 10 kills. 10 kills.
Someone sign this guy. Someone sign Max. He needs to be up at the highest level right now. He is playing as if he is smurfing on all of these kids right now. He's got more kills than everyone else. Well, let's do some math. 4, 5, and then other team. You know, he's got 3 less kills than everyone else on both teams combined.
You know what, Adam? I'm glad you did that math because I would have never been able to do that.
He's doing the most.
He's doing the most. That I can 100% agree with. It's like someone told Max that, hey, we get to go to the grand finals if we win this, and he was like, wait, we do? Oh, okay, hold on. Let me go ahead and drop 10 kills before we even get into the 4th round.
He's halfway through his ultimate again. You know, we might just get like Killjoy lockdowns every 2 rounds at this rate. You know, it's just an incredible opening coming through from Max. They're feeling so good about this game. And all just comes down to if they can keep it consistent, if they can continue that push forward. Onto C-site they go. Omen ultimate also going to be popped there. Just clearing out as much space as possible. And yeah, there is no walking through that Odin. The meat shredder just coming down.
Yeah, and you can see exactly what it did to HTO7 there, sitting at 83. Now valiant effort, but TN6 not gonna let anyone walk through that garage. It is going to be a hail of bullets raining down from above, and TN6 with a 4K of their own. They gotta catch up to Max.
With the Odin just spraying and praying at that point, able to sort of pivot it around, find the kills. Max didn't have to do anything. Max had the easy job that round, just sort of walked on the site, covered an angle, and let TN6 do the rest. And my goodness, they are coming out locked and loaded. Molloy said they messed around for long enough. They've played too many games. They gave over bind. Now they're just all firing on all cylinders. This is incredible to watch thus far. 5-1-6 coming through from TN6.
I like it what TN6 is thinking. I'm pretty sure they're like, who needs a KJ turret when I'm the turret? Just give me an Odin, man. I'll start blasting everyone. And they were flicking left to right to left to right. Garage and Link were both covered by him alone. and they were rewarded for their efforts with 4 kills. Utica in shambles, doesn't know what to do here. Where do we go? What's the decision-making process? The decision-making process from Joyce is finally give Max their first death of this round.
Yeah, just pick up the operator, find your one there, and at the very least, they've slowed down the pacing of this game. Gonna take that heat out of Max a little bit here. Granted, you still gotta worry about TN6 here, and if you miss that op shot, you're getting for a world of hurt. How many bullets coming back the other way? 25, 30? Who cares at that point? You won't be able to see the rest of that. Long walk over to A here. Gonna see what they can accomplish. Chaser, though, tossing out those smokes and making it a little bit more difficult. Gonna be a little bit more of an intense round. Tanuki finds their one as well.
Intense round for Utica, but a walk in the park for Molloy. They are in charge. This is a team that has absolutely been undefeated this entire time, and this is a look that is something they are used to. And now with the site being taken like this, Anchor wasn't even able to look at it before Larry stops them in their tracks. Now, Joyce, you got an operator in your hand, and you're doing a lot of work with it, but you still have to respect what TN6 is capable of.
Whoa.
They don't need no Sinking Odin. You just give them a sheriff and a dream, a sheriff and a 2K. What just happened? What is happening? What did Molloy do during the break? This is a smart timeout for Utica.
Oh, they have to at this point. I mean, you're stumped at this. The first 5 rounds of this on a map that's realistically quite even in a lot of ways. You should have practice on it. You should have the strategies. It seems as if Molloy have just come through and absolutely baffled you in that sense. The pistol round, both teams just going down mid. It's Max finding 4. Now TN6 holding down that C site with the Odin on round 4, able to find a whole bunch of their own. And now, what do you do if you're the side of Utica? You need to try and find something. You're on another eco round. You had your buy. Joyce did get value out of it. But at what cost? At the cost of the round. Now, at least, there's 5 ultimates on the opposite side. They have the agency to sort of use all of these extra skills they've got to turn this round around and turn the momentum out of their favor. But Molloy, this is what we expected from the beginning. This is what we wanted to see them come out with in game number 1. And it took them a little bit to warm up. Now they're just going to be trying to just lay down the law with everything that they've got. Sheriffs, Odins, does not matter.
Listen, if it takes 47 rounds to warm up, that is a long lead-up time. But now we finally got it. Molloy is here, and they are blasted away. 5 rounds in a row. Now for Utica, it's time to go ahead, pop the tour de force. Time to start using some of these ultimates that we've got banked up. Because we need to stop the hemorrhaging. We got to put the Band-Aid on, and we got to stand up to Molloy.
With these ultimates available, do you want to use all of them this round? It's the knives, it's the tour de force at the very least used up. They're going to have to pick up some of these weapons if they want to sort of make the most out of the rest of them. You know, they're not necessarily combat... I almost said combat ultimates. Been playing too much TFT. Combat ultimates in their own. But once again, now they just slow it down. They know that the ultimates are online for the side of Utica. They just take their time. They're playing so patiently. Yeah. They have no rush.
No rush. Figure out what the operator is. Once you figure that out, then you go into a different direction. Whoa. They found out what the operator is in the worst way possible. The death of TN6 was also been the Odin operator. Now Max, they're ready to pop off some more. You take away Anchor and their Blade Storm, and HTO7 is just another prize on top of that. 2 for Max, who is just holding down the flank.
And, you know, while Max is low on health, doesn't really matter in the eyes of Joyce. You know, they're just trying to find absolutely anything they can. Demon, though, going to upgrade to that Odin. That's a little bit scarier now. Getting that weapon upgrade, that was the main thing to be concerned about. Finds one. Going to find not the second one. Bliss lands the shots, and now it's down to Joyce.
It has been the kind of moments where you're incredibly scared. But Max,
3 bullets.
You got to be ready for that because it's a KJ. Got to make sure your lineups are good. They're cognizant of that. Very smart of them. You whip out the classic, you take out the lineups. But time is running away. It's a 2v1. You're running out of time. You got to make sure you land these shots. One comes through. But for Max, all they have to do is just wait. And the patience rewarded once more. Max is ready. Max is popping. Max is Mad Max.
Yeah, it's Mad Max. It's Mad Max at this point. You know, we talked about it in the last couple of rounds there on Pearl, that they were starting to heat up a little bit. And I think for the first little bit, Max was a little bit underwhelming, just sort of doing their own thing right in the middle there, letting TN6 sort of take the carry in that situation. But now Max is taking things into their own hands. They've got to get to sleep. They've got probably exams to study for and everything. They don't have time to play no stinking Valorant. They're going to try to do anything that they can to get this done with. They want to get to those finals. They'll do absolutely everything. A side note, this is the first time Molloy's gotten 6 rounds in the first half of the game. And it's, you know...
6 rounds in a row.
Yeah.
It's an unbelievable performance from this team, and now you're able to use the KJ lockdown once more, give yourself entry onto site. Just enough of a corner that once the nightfall comes through and once the lockdown is done, you're able to use that. How did TN6 know? How did TN6 know that Anchor was just chilling out there in the corner? You land the perfect shots on them, and you get the kill.
Now just gets to sit in the corner here. Chaser's trying to figure out where everyone is. TN6 just holding the short angle. It is so challenging to contest against that Odin. You think you're just spray and pray. Chaser, though, finds the head.
Hello, Chaser. Another one, but Larian with a double kill of their own. It's a 2v2. But Molloy once more in a much finer position. Health-wise speaking, Joyce is literally on a thread of health. Same for HTO7. And now, just get out of there. Save. You have to. You have an operator in your hand. You have weapons. A safe idea from Utica, but also one that continues to give Molloy this lead.
And the Molloy train does not stop for anything. The unstoppable force has finally come through against a very movable object, as it seems. Joyce has been able to find their shots, but it's not enough. It feels like Max finding more. TN6 doesn't need to find even the first shot, just needs to find any of the 5 shots that it takes to take him down. Through a wall doesn't matter. You know, on the legs doesn't matter. You just spray and pray at that point. This attack from Molloy has been absolutely sublime thus far. Very little to argue about. Now, you know, Anchor at this point saying, you know what, I gotta start doing this. My aim is way off. I'm pulling out the Odin for myself.
Yeah, you know what? If it's working for TN6, if it's working for Molloy, maybe it can work for myself. But site has basically just been given up. And I think for Utica, it's now time to play for site retake. See if we can find picks. See what we can do here. A very good paranoia catches 3 inside of it, but with no capitalization from anyone to be able to take advantage of it. Chaser has been taken down. Bliss covering angles so perfectly. And the second anyone tries to walk on a site, it is just TN6, an Odin, and the meat grinder is what they call it. You're stopping everyone.
He's turning them into human sausages at this point, just throwing it down the law. Just so much residual damage to deal with here. And then just able to top everyone up in case they took any shots in return. Demon, not full health, doesn't want to check it. Joyce with the operator, not going to check it. He'll find one in return.
Okay, Demon. All right. I feel you for that one. It's Joyce to hide once again. You have the operator. You want to make sure that you save it. Molloy, though, they are hunting them down. We got to find Joyce. We got to get rid of that operator. Stay safe.
At the very least. The operator is sort of that one saving grace for the side of Utica here. If they can keep protecting it, if they can finally find a round that goes in their favor, it'll be all for them. But something else to note is that Joyce hasn't found value of it in the last 2 rounds. Not even an ult to orbit for themselves. So even still, the longer that they're holding onto this operator, the longer that they are forced to play passively in that regard, the less it feels like Utica can do. It feels as if they're sort of playing with the op crutch in a sense, because you're just trying to keep it alive. You're just trying to save it. You're trying not to give it over to the opposite side. But is that your downfall? Ooh. Apparently not, as HTO7 finally able to collect an early kill here.
Good headshot to start the round off with, but boy, just as powerful themselves. Tanuki is able to walk on site and take down Anchor. Quick one to put them down as they're looking through B Link, the side of C. Now it's just holding here. Wait for some opportunities. The Omen smoke goes down. We don't need to push. We still got all the time in the world. We got a minute left. I gotta go on that thread with Joyce and that operators. Ooh, it might actually be able to find something here. Max might make the move, but the shot is whiffed. And Molloy says to heck with that noise. No, thank you. We're out. Let's just go to C.
Yeah, taking the walk over to see a run more like it, taking a little bit of a sprint, a jog. Want to make sure that they're not contesting that operator at any cost. And while all this open utility is thrown down, might not have the read on exactly where everyone is, though. Stinker comes through. And it's a trade back and forth. TN6, though, with the Odin. Here it comes once again.
You cannot hide behind anything because TN6 is piercing through that with those high-impact Odin rounds. And it has just been a danger to them time and time again. And Joyce finally finding their confidence, finding their footing, wants to engage, wants to try and make something happen. It's going to be much more difficult, and Demon wanting to spray and pray. It is a lot more difficult with a Marshall. With the flank and through Garage, Joyce may have the read here. Able to get TN6 down, but that is it. Tanuki to make the trade happen. Molloy, 9 rounds in a row.
And they're just gonna keep pedal to the metal here. Odin re-upped. They don't even care about picking up that operator in return. Joyce gonna switch back to the Vandal there because it is all they can afford this time around. Utica, they've done so well to get this far. They've run the underdog story. They ran Molloy off of their own map with an excellent comp. But it seems as if they've poked the beast a little too much. The lion is awakened. Now the meat grinder continues. Molloy University are on a tear, and they are not stopping. Absolutely no brakes on this car.
They took out the brakes, they ripped it out, said we don't need these. It is nothing but full speed ahead. Speaking of full speed ahead, it's going to be Joyce caught inside of the Nightfall. And as they were looking away, that gives Larry more than ample opportunities to be able to land a good headshot and a paranoia as well. Puts Demon into the ground. It's once again a clean and perfect site execution. That's being taken away by Anchor.
One enemy remaining.
Reload. But the savior is HTO7. Now Max. All right, we know what Max is capable of. We know that Max can hurt a lot. But in a 1v3, it's going to be difficult. And there you have it. Anchor gets the 4K. And finally for Utica, the first round win. Stopping the roll of Molloy, at least for now.
Yeah, and finally they're able to sort of get them to step outside, embrace the chilly winter air that's coming around these schools at this time of the year. And Anchor says, it's my turn to heat up. Nonetheless, it's still a long road ahead. With 8 rounds down. At the very best, you're hoping for the curse to turn your way. But nonetheless, they've got so much money. They've got so many credits. They've got enough to buy out for the rest of this half. They are more than happy. Handover round. Give out the handouts. See what they can find. See what Utica can do in retaliation, though. They've got to keep this pressure up. They have to keep Anchor feeling as hot as they are. Because for the first time in a while, Anchor isn't the Anchor. They're the one who might be sinking too deep.
The Seekers go in to try and find and seek out any information possible. But as Larry was going to use their TP and said it's going to be denied, as it was immediately found out, it's going to be HTO7 using their null command to try and delay the push as best they can. And indeed so, it is going to push Molloy back. You don't need to fight this. You've expended the ultimate. Little duel in mid. TN6, you get blinded by your own bird. Unfortunate. And as they try to walk inside of mid, Utica is more than happy to land headshot after headshot after headshot. And that's the kind of headache that you're going to be feeling in the morning.
Yeah, especially if they potentially let this lead, this momentum they've got slip back the opposite way. It feels as if both of these teams, if they can get hot at the right time, they are in good hands. Nonetheless, it's forced on to a defensive side. HTO7 though. Oh, he found it.
And now Max, scared. Utica, perfection. A flawless round is exactly what they needed to get their foothold back into this. The previous round, okay, they won it. It was fantastic. This round, however, flawless. Gives themselves a little bit more time, a little bit more room to maneuver, and get themselves the 9-3 that they're hoping for. And this is Molloy wanting to use a timeout. And I think probably a good idea here, right? Utica just took 2 rounds in a row. Sure, we may be ahead of them by 7, but there is a reason why it's called the 9-3 curse.
I don't know if they're worried about curses or anything. I think they're more so worried about the fact that the wind's been taken out of their sails. They run into a storm that comes through. Demon is the person leading the charge at this point. It's just about if you can hold the line, if you can hold your own in these situations. The pressure very high on both of these teams. Molloy can get to double digits, though. They are oh so close to reaching those grand finals, of which has been expected of them almost from the series. And yet Utica has given them so much trouble, giving them more headaches than studying for finals, as we've been talking about. But nonetheless, it all comes down to keeping your resolve. This timeout more so just a cooler. Take a breath. Take a minute. Think about what we're going to do. Let's get to this 10.
And TN6 going back with an old classic of theirs. A classic, an Odin of theirs. Hey, as well, right? It worked out for us, well, I mean, perfectly fine in the first couple of rounds. We just had to make sure that we're a little bit more careful with this, work around the teammates some more, make sure that we're able to land some pretty gnarly flashes and not get flashed by one of our own this time around. Unfortunately there, Demon kind of whiffed it. Now we're going to have the Nightfall come through. The catch has been destroyed. Joyce, you heard them. You know that they're hiding out in there. And so Max, looking at the wall, was not ready for that whatsoever. Now, yeah, couldn't hear a thing. And now we have Utica. This is a team that is ready to go, that has found their footing once more. But the question is, can they translate that footing? Ooh, all right. Well, translating the footing is looking really good. TN6, a 1v4. Sure, you may have an Odin, and sure, you can use that Odin really well. But you got to make sure that you take down Anchor, who's in there, Bladestorm, and you got to watch out. He still had to plant the spike too, or get the 4K. It's a tough round for them. At the very least, it's starting off real good with a kill. 1 there, make that 2. Now they pick up the Vandal. Put in the ground by Joyce to finally stop this terror called TN6.
Well, you can't bring a knife to a gunfight there. You can bring guns of your own. Of course, Chambers has got plenty of those. I don't want to say anything yet about this. Of course, the score on the screen speaks for itself. There's literally sprays in the game for it. Utica might have just been able to turn the tides back into their favor. They seem to have that momentum, that spunk that we saw early on in that map number 1, and it seems as if it's been revitalized. It's been revived inside of them. Will they be able to continue this trend, though? It all comes down to the second half. They've got a long road ahead of them still, and with how dominant Molloy has been in these pistol rounds, it might be an even longer road.
It might be indeed, and for the first time in this series, Molloy has been able to take the lead in this half. The past 2 games, the Utica had the lead in their pocket 7-5, and then on Bind, it was 8-4, and so a much better position this time around. A couple of shots go through as we see the grim determination of Utica to make sure that they win out in this pistol round, but it's already looking like it's going to be much more difficult with the loss of your Jet. Anchor down once more. Now it's time for the rotations to kick in.
You can just see Max holding down the site. This is the power of the Killjoy. Once again, you can leave her alone on the site and she will be fine, unless there is a KO knife to deter her for just that little bit. Enough time to get a plant down for Demon. These swarm grenades not going to be as effective now. They're on not where the spike is, basically. They're just not in the right spots, and now the site is all in favor of Utica.
They do have the number advantage. You see that the Haunt comes in. Wow! Even inside of the Paranoia, Chaser was able to reposition themselves to catch out Max. And this is not supposed to be happening for Molloy. They're supposed to be winning out in these pistol rounds, especially with the numbers advantage that they had. But once again, Utica rolling right through. The second pistol round of the night goes to them.
HTO7 was HP 04 there, just barely staying alive and still able to land the spray down. My goodness, these teams, streaky or not, hot or cold, does not seem to matter. They refuse to relent. They refuse to make this game boring. They don't want to give us a stomp to close it out. They want to fight with all their worth. And now Molloy on a full save. They have no reason to spend. They've still got the lead. It is all about that. Max getting a face full of bird. The rushes are going to come through, all through Garage. Anchor here and ready. Will they find the shots?
They will. And instead of being greedy, just go ahead and get out of there. You're not going to walk through the smoke. You've already done the damage. You've put a crack in the armor of Molloy, who are just deciding, we go in through B, maybe we go in through A, but Anchor there once more gets away with another kill and deals a lot of damage too onto Larry. 16 HP is all they have left. You eliminate that as quick as you can. And now it's Larry all by themselves. Chaser to eliminate their mirror matchup. Another round win for Utica. Now Molloy gets guns in their hands. This could be their moment to take things back.
Could be, but it's always a could situation, especially in this game where never seems to follow the traditional script here in a lot of ways. You know, it's strong rounds coming back from Utica. Now they've got their momentum back. They've got their mojo. They've completely shut down Max. You know, started out that game, what, 13-1, 13-2, something like that. Now starting to come back down to earth a little bit. TN6, while still a very masterful scoreline there, once again, hasn't been able to get as hot at the right times, and it's all Demon and Anchor starting to pull themselves up a little bit here. That's what it's all about. This is what Valorant's about at the end of the day, especially collegiate. You never know what's going to happen.
No, you don't. That's what makes it so exciting. The turret, an early casualty, but the information given that little bit of alert towards Garage. Larry blinded, now respecting that decision is going to back away from Garage. Anchor, you're going to have a lot of work in your hands. You got to make sure that you're going to land this shot. The shot misses, but the dash comes through. Now they're going to be able to reposition and take no damage and going to be safe. I'm interested to see what happens here in mid, though. Bliss, you're holding this angle. Very scary one. But we know what the potential is here. The smokes do go down. But Bliss holding that angle. Out comes the Prowler. You know, they're hiding out in there.
Oh!
But Joyce, even though the smoke doesn't care, they're able to land headshots like it's nobody's business. That Headhunter, true to its name. Ooh, but a little bit of boldness is going to be taken away. All right, Chaser, you're gonna TP over to the other side. I liked it. The idea was there. It was just unfortunate that you had a Marshall in your hand.
Yeah, just not the right gun for the fight there. Not gonna be in the best of situations, at least. They're down still 5 rounds, while Utica have been able to put together a nice run for themselves. It is quashed in their tracks as Molloy finally come back alive, finally pick up another round for themselves. There is money in the inventory. It's a full buy on both sides. Actually, might not even be a full buy on the side of Molloy. A couple members there bringing up the rear in terms of what their inventories can handle. Be a Sheriff, might be a Marshall thrown in there, but it all comes down to Max TN6, Larry, the ones who held their guns, who held their own. All comes down to that.
It does indeed. At the very least for Utica. Got guns back in the hands. Feeling a little bit more confident. You're able to stand up against Molloy just that little bit better. It could have been a different story had Chaser not been forced to use a Marshall. Could have been able to land a couple of clean, crisp headshots with a Vandal or Phantom. But now we're going to see if they're going to be able to do that. Tanuki hiding out on the high ground. A little bit of a pause shot goes through, but no confirmation of a kill. They're going to give up that high ground. Better to be safe than sorry. But while they give up high ground, Utica giving up the attempt to take A, instead rotating. Looks like towards mid.
Yeah, and I think that it's more so that they want to try and find an angle onto the site. B site, they were able to get the plant down last time. Didn't quite work out in their favor. And Marks 1, though, the haunt, going to be used to great effectiveness. Now it just comes down to the timing. You still have half the round to go. Do you have the angles? Chaser going to spot out where a couple more members are. Seems as if the push towards Garage may be coming through. How much do they want to invest? Do they want to invest is the question.
Well, it looks like we're going to be investing some bullets into Anchor, and a headshot is going to be the reward for that one. But as Max was wanting to make the swing, Joyce more than ready to stop them. However, it's trades for trades. It's a 3v3, and a lot of damage has been dealt. Utica a little bloody, and Molloy, with the members that they do have remaining, full strength and ready to go, and try to attempt to take the retake of this site. Spike has been planted, but you're going to have to wait for the, hopefully, maybe some lineups that could happen here. Maybe, but that's not what you want. Chaser immediately caught out the crossfire. They thought they were safe, but instead, ACO 7, excuse me? This is gonna walk up into the back line and get a 4K?
What?
What are the, this is like the 4th 4K of this match.
Oh my goodness. Just goes behind enemy lines and walks through garage, says, you got the distraction coming through from Joyce. Firing those bullet traces. They know where he is. They smoke him off everything. Says, I'm just going to go find all the members myself. Catch them looking the wrong way. Utica get around back for themselves. Now they've got a little bit more of an inventory advantage. They've got the knives potentially for Anchor as well. All comes down to what Molloy can put together, because you look at the side of Molloy, they've got 3 members significantly further ahead than the rest of the team. Those are the hot members. You get them down, you've got the rounds very likely in your favor. Utica, more of a stable ship. They've got all of these members sort of fragging as much as they can. It's a consistent effort. Sometimes you just gotta all be on the same page, and that's exactly what's happening thus far. No, these sight lines, Anchor.
They're just hanging out in the spawn. Adam, well, you walk in, and they're just hanging out in there. Molloy is like, what degen strategy is this? They're not even going to move. They're just all going to be hanging out in there. And listen, we've been seeing a lot of these kind of strategies come out tonight, and it's been working.
Oh, yeah. Like, to a T at that. I mean, they know that the aggression wants to come through from the Jet. They want to punish that. It's exactly that. Demon finds Max once again. And as we mentioned, it seems to be a 3-2 strategy coming through from Molloy. They get punished for their aggression, and now the march onto site. Larry with the shorty. Not going to be fun, and anyone there is going to have to try and make some value of it elsewhere.
And the nice thing is, too, being able to go onto site is going to be a lot easier with the loss of Max. I don't think Larry was expecting Demon like that. That's the kind of things that haunt your dreams at night. And Demon indeed going Demon mode with a 3K of their own and a flawless round for Utica. They are starting to make up lost ground. And Molloy, at timeout, listen, that timeout, you know, we were talking about it. They were sitting at that 9-3 marker. It looked like they really wanted to stop that roll before it started, but that timeout, yeah. Wow.
A little bit of a double-edged sword. I mean, we saw the timeout come through from Utica very early on when they were down 5-0. They ended up losing 4 rounds afterwards. It's the curse of the timeouts, if anything. You take one, you start to lose the game. It turns the tables the opposite way. But TN6 now, with that Odin, just going to spray and pray once again, trying to hold any angles. Now, slowly but surely, the side of Utica getting their life back about them. They win this round. It's another forced save coming through. Oh my goodness, I am so curious to see how this game is going to turn out, because it hasn't even been back and forth. It's been literally one way or the other.
I'm like holding my breath here. I had to remember to breathe sometimes because of just how close this has been going. TN6 at an Odin is scary. And you can tell that Utica does not want to tempt fate by going up against that. And now you're going to use the null command. You're going to use the nightfall. You make sure that you bring TN6 out as quick as you can. You want to make sure that site is secure. But for Chaser wanting to plant down the spike, Max is just going to walk up in through Link and take them out. Demon not able to pop off as hard as they used to. Oh, what? No way. What?
The barrel.
Through the smoke. The barrel. The tip of the barrel, some might say, but a really good flick from Max puts that to bed. It's back and forth right now, though. All that's left by themselves is HTO7. They don't even have vision of the spike, and so Bliss is gonna be able to make the defuse. They have to run in. But Max is the savior, the defender once more. Time and time again, these rounds, and Max is saved thanks to their efforts.
I mean, it's the lockdown getting a whole lot of use in the same way that your breach ultimate was used before to clear out a site, get yourselves back in there. It's exactly how they use that lockdown. It's a great use of it, great adaptation with the recent changes to the game. I mean, for these players, that sucks. You're playing on a new patch, you know, 4 days old or something like that, and you're trying to figure out how everything's going to work out. But nonetheless, these games have been nothing but entertaining here, with the tour de force now popped as well. Utica trying to turn up the speed once again. They took too long last round. They didn't like the pacing. They're going to turn it up to another level here. Will they be able to capitalize?
Capitalization. Make sure that you always do it at the beginning of a sentence. Tanuki. Couple of shots, but no kills. Once again, that high ground not quite finding the luck that they want, but TN6 doesn't need no stinking luck. They just need aim and skill, which is what they have in spades right now. HTO7 to try and regroup with the team through long. And it looks like they are indeed going to be able to do that. TN6 not wanting to go crazy, not overheating. He's going to back off and see if they're going to make that sight onto... Hey, it's Larry and a judge.
Oh!
And the hammer is about to be dropped. HTO7, thankfully, though, is going to stop the hemorrhaging right then and there, trading it out. Anger wasn't ready for this. Bliss, though. What? It's 1-for-1 trades right now, but Utica's on the back foot. They're not ready for it.
Yeah, and I mean, they hear that teleport as well. Not sure where he went. It is, of course, Molloy still with the man advantage. They've got all the tools that they need. Is it going to be enough? HTO7 and Jacer, they're just holding the line. The blind comes through. It's going to be enough. Molloy get to 12.
Molloy to 12. Molloy to match point. And the heartbreaking thing for Utica, that economy is not in the best of places.
You know, you potentially get one more buy at the very least. You're going to be able to finish that one out. Bliss going to be the one sort of handed over a gun for their troubles. Larry just going to stay on the judge. Why not? It works. Might as well cheese him again. All of a sudden, finals point for the side of Molloy. Sort of took a while to come online. It took them until sort of the second half of Pearl to get their wits about them and get their game back on. After an incredible opening and an almost equally as incredible downfall, they have now put themselves on to map point. And they have all the tools they need to succeed. They've got 5 chances at it. But Utica won't go down without a fight.
No, they won't. It's grim determination, but you had to be ready for this. Larry, ready to go. And now with the information that comes from that knife, you know that Larry's holding that door. They did it once before. Why won't they do it again? And the recognition from Utica, the respect from Utica to not attempt to go inside of garage. Larry to peek through, see if anybody's hanging out there. A little bit of a dangerous thing for them, but they are just gonna make garage their domain. Why give it up? Why do that if we don't need to?
Now just walking over towards H. Tanuki has the read. Oh!
What a way to open up this round. Tanuki blasting for days. And now with each and every single death that comes through for Utica, they're not stopping though. It's all up to Anchor. 12 HP. It just wasn't enough. And there we have it. Molloy University going to the grand finals against Southern New Hampshire. But this series, Adam, we cannot understate. It was close. It was a lot closer than what I think we were expecting from a team that was undefeated and had not dropped a single map going into these finals.
Utica had series point in that overtime, the first overtime on Pearl, and it came down to Max, Mad Max finding that 4K, turning it around. And somehow, some way, a 9-round streak to start off Haven, almost, pushed back on by Utica, was not enough at this point. But Molloy holding their own, saying no underdog story today, no 9-3 curves, none of that crap in my league. They say they're going to be going on to finals, of course, to face up against Southern New Hampshire University. The Penmen awaiting their finals opponent for all this time. And oh my goodness, they got to see every single bit of this team. And I'm sure that they're looking at it and saying, Molloy's beatable.
Molloy is beatable. We saw them. They faltered for but a moment before they found their strength. And that may be just what we need to finally take this beast and give ourselves the title of Grand Champions. But with a series like this, Adam, these are the kind of moments where collegiate teams look at each other. These are the kind of things that you have like respect for each other, that you were able to go this far. And it was a pleasure to be able to sit here with you tonight, to be able to cast for it, and to be able to see Valorant played at its finest.
100%. Just a fantastic series overall. Of course, give a shout out to our production crew as well. Leighton with the production and Scoots with the observing. Always great as ever here. Of course, thanks to you, Sam, for being my co-caster for tonight. It was a wonderful time. My goodness, these teams, just such a great performance as well. Shout out to the players for that. That was a long series.
Shout out to the players.
Get some rest after that one.
Absolutely. And listen, everyone, thank you all so much for watching. We will be back once again. We do have a big grand finals coming up. So if you're a fan of Molloy, make sure that you tune into that happening this Saturday. Thank you all for watching.
Betrayal.
Last player standing. 30 seconds left. Spike down. C. Last player. Spike planted. One enemy. Last player standing.
Finish.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing. Spike planted. Last player standing. One enemy remaining. Last player standing. Spike planted. Flaw planted. Last player standing.
A collective, let's move this forward. And the fact that the NCAA is not administering it, I think, is really helpful to the growth of it all. And yes, we allow grad students. We don't even have a 4 or 5 year clock. If you are full-time enrolled for 10 years in good standing, you can do. And why not? Why would we not say that that's okay? Now, eventually, like I said, we may change our minds if the schools require it. They say, no, this is crazy. Look what they're doing over there. We don't like, but I think we're still a long way from that. Alex, do you have anything?
Yeah, I mean, I echo everything that really Carolyn has said. You're gonna have to forgive me. What was the original question? It's been a minute. I know. I'm sorry.
Well, just kind of what you set out to do, and then what maybe the realities of it all.
I can't say that. I'll get in trouble. There's one for each game, so teams this weekend, somebody's going to have to explain to TSA why they're coming home with an extra trophy. Fine. We're fine. This is going to be great. Why is everybody staring at me? I'm not even doing anything yet. Is it because I'm in a suit? It looks nice. It's new. I'm stressing. It's all right. We win these. We absolutely win these. I've never seen us lose these. I love him. I don't remember his name. What is going on, everybody? And are we ready? I'll start over. Okay. What's going on, everybody? We are here at the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup 2022 in Atlanta, Georgia. The players are just now entering the arena for day one. A lot of them had the opportunity to be here yesterday to get jerseys, to get familiar with the area, and to get to know one another. But today, the friendly gloves have to come off, and they are all here. Earlier, I was talking to these guys. This mannequin, when they didn't have anything else set up, I could see it from all the way down there, and I thought it was a person. And I stood there for like 5 minutes, and I was like, why is he standing like that? And I thought it was like a smooth criminal. I thought somebody was giving us like a Michael Jackson impression, and then it was a mannequin. I was really embarrassed to admit that. Oh my God, that's a lot of people. Hold on, let's go over this window. It just keeps going. There's so many people outside. There are so many people outside. We're gonna interview people when they come in.